This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slomin's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welt Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welt Rheaume, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welt Rheaume can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welt Rheaume can help. Call 954-966-4646. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths. In South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. It is time to rock and roll on a beautiful Monday morning. Yes, it's a beautiful Monday morning. It's a baffling Monday morning. And why do I say it's a baffling Monday morning? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There we go. All right. So now we're back. There we go. All right. Were they able to hear me at least? Were you able to hear me anyway? Good morning. And welcome aboard. Yes, sir. We are ready to rock and roll on a beautiful Monday. A weird Monday. It's an odd Monday. Some of you out there are going to tell me, why would it be odd? Are you watching the crypto market? God. Wow, I can't explain this explosion. I really can't. Ethereum's exploded, Bitcoin, everything. I woke up this morning and it's been kind of going on throughout the entire the weekend actually was kind of positive and kind of green. And then this morning, Polygon's up almost 17%. Decentraland's up almost 7%. Gala's up 8%. Immutable X is up 12%. Engine Coin's up 9%. Cardano's up 9%. Kusama's up 9%. ApeCoin's up 19%. Avalanche is up 11%. Hedera is up 9%. Cadena is up 8%. I always say Cadena, it's Cadena. Polkadot 6%, 6.5%. Algorand's almost 5%. I mean, this is crazy, dude. I don't know. This got to be a fake pump, man. It's got to be a fake pump, man. We're about to get the rates are about to go up either 3/4 or an entire point. I'm telling you, this kind of has to be a fake pump. Has to be a fake pump. But wow, at least that stops the buying for now. It's what it does for me. I gotta wait now. So anyway, so it's a nice morning to see everything so green this morning. So anyway, good weekend. Hope you guys and ladies out there had a terrific weekend overall. We got a lot of things to talk about. We got some people to talk to. Ira Winderman will stop by at 10:30. Alan Poupar will be on at 11:30, and Marcel Louis-Jacques will be joining us at 12:30. So we've got all of that going on, of course, and we've got a bunch of things. I've got a bunch of pictures, videos, all kinds of stuff to share with you all. It's going to be some things that you're going to wish you watched the YouTube show this time, not listen to it. You can listen to it, but it's, sometimes you miss out on the imaging when we do some stuff on YouTube. So we'll be doing a little bit of that today. We've got the Home Run Derby tonight. The All-Star game is this week now. And then the Marlins will be back in action on Thursday, I believe, against the Rangers. So we've got all of that and All-Star game on Tuesday. They'll enjoy their day off Wednesday, and then they're back in the mix. The other thing I definitely I got to send our love out to the folks in Portugal, Spain, and France who are dealing with some brutal brush fires out there. And I know we've had listeners chime in from Portugal. And I know we have Spain and France because I see the stats, and they're in there actually. But seeing the wildfires and obviously everything going on with climate change, man, just tough. So hang in there for our friends out there, because I know we've had to deal with it out west here in the United States. We've had a lot of those wildfires too. And obviously our thoughts and prayers to everybody in Greenwood, Indianapolis, where they had a shooting at a mall, and four are dead and 2 injured in that shooting also. So sad story there too. So our thoughts and prayers too. So remember, as you are powering through your week, we have some of our brothers and sisters around the world going through some really, really tough times right now. So just want to make sure that while we talk about all of the fun stuff and all that, we don't forget the folks that are going through some really, really tough times also right now. Anyway, so we got a loaded Monday for you today on the program. Some Heat talk, some Dolphins talk. We'll bounce around the NFL. We'll bounce around the NBA. A little soccer too, as Inter Miami coming off one hell of a win on Saturday against Charlotte, a team they had to beat because they're battling them for that last playoff spot with 11 games left. And what a comeback. So they've got that going on. They've got Barcelona on Tuesday. On Saturday, they take on New York City. So that's a lot of fun. Marlins, unfortunately, going the other way at this point in time after getting swept by the Phillies. So we got a bunch of things to talk about also on the program there. A college player that we should all admire, by the way. I want to talk about that. A college player we should all admire. Obviously, our KSDT Sports Business Report is also on the docket. Don't forget, if you want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, the law office you should call if you have some issues like personal injury and commercial litigation and business owner claims and homeowner damage. You want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, 855-912-1056. We'll answer your text there at 855-912-1056. You can always reach out to us on email at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That, my friends, just like Twitter, is a 24-hour talk show right there at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. And, of course, Twitter, Big O Show. Many ways to reach out to us. Don't forget to like and support, follow, please subscribe to our other channel, our YouTube Cuts channel, which is Big O Show Cuts. You can find it there. Put it on the search engine right now, right this second. Take 1 second, go on the search engine, put Big O Show Cuts, and hit follow. Please do that. We got to get that to 1,000. Want to get live programming on that one also, because we're going to do some other things down the line. So please help us with that also. And of course, Cash App or Venmo, you can make a donation at Cash Big O Show. Even in Bitcoin, if you want to make a donation. DJ Gallagher broke the ice and donated a little Bitcoin last week on Cash App. So Cash Big O Show is the address if you want to make a donation. Our business line, as always, if your company wants to join our company and you want to promote your business and great branding, whether it's locally, whether it's statewide, whether it's nationally, or even internationally, that's the reach the show has now. You can do it. Reach out to us on our business line at 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664 if you want to be a part of our platform. There you go. Thank you all out there. Jamie Zorria is already in the house in San Jose, lining up. To Extreme is there. Steve Chapman is in. He says, welcome back. Miss Saturday show. Weekends are spent with the family. Priorities. I like that, Steve. Isais is in. Or I'm sorry, Isaiah is in on this one. What else? Omar is in. Kyle Cockrell, Gus 1388, Caddyshack, Ian from Brooklyn, Brooklyn Rob. Nelson says, Big O, thank you for doing a show for us today. Are you going to cover the ACC meetings this week? Only asking because you're not in Vegas. No. Are you paying for me to be at the ACC meetings next week or something, or later on in the week or something? I don't know when it is. If you want to pay for it, that's more than, it costs money to go on the road, Nelson. I don't know if you know that. Everything costs money that we do. So if you're more than happy to pay for it, yeah, we'll go. I mean, really, there's not much to do in the ACC meetings. It's just more about kissing ass. Ernie Cabrera is in. John Yang is in. He says to turn your damn camera off. This beautiful face. Now you're way off there, bro. Way off. But thank you. Willie is in. Brooklyn Rob loves the parabolic rise in crypto. Joey Vasquez. Nice hair. Well, it's just wet still. That's all. Let's see. John Padilla says, let's go, Big O. Cali, beautiful, 108 today. Cap for life says, buy the dip. GP Trap says, I'll take the credit for the Inter Miami win on Saturday. Had a birthday party game, delayed rain, got there, and we scored a goal. One got called. Yeah, man. Well, Gonzalo was completely offsides. Okay. It was a good call. It wasn't a bad call. He was completely offsides. But he's gotten 2 goals now in the last 2 outings at least. One called back, we win. I'm good luck. Yes, you are, GP Trap. Well, keep going to the damn games. Joy says, had a good time at the Tua signing. How could you not, man? Tua's a phenomenal man. I mean, he's just a class act. And hit that like button. That's right. That's right. That's right. Let's see. What else do we have? Pep is in. Mr. Swain is in. Starting my week-long staycation. I get to enjoy the show this week. Yeah, baby. Thank you, sir, for supporting us. Alex and Tony, Ryan AP, 6193, Heat Fins, 305 Domi. Man, you guys are loaded up on the chat board today. Jay Gelfin is in. He loves the win by Inter. No, Michelle will not be on today. We'll get her on during the week. Stephen Gonzalez says, love the hair. Why? What's the deal with my hair? Is it the Pat Riley look because it's still wet? Came out of the shower about 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. So I guess it's still wet. Orlando, if you can translate Dolphins tight end name Hunter Long in Spanish. Cazador Largo. Big Tan 305. Some of you have too much time on your hands, by the way. J Ran, Tank is in, Chad is in, Andy Jackson, Lewis Bryan is in the ATL. He's in the hizzy. Yeah. Love the ATL. That's a fun place to visit. Your traffic sucks. Okay. But it's a great place to visit. Love the ATL. Good place. Anyway, welcome aboard. So we got a bunch of things to talk about. Did a little roll call for you all there, as always. We've got the Heat. They are still working on a deal, and we've talked about this before, that it's all about priorities right now. Okay? It's Durant right now. And listen, we all have to be big-time Ayton fans from here on out. DeAndre Ayton, for me, I'm pretty close to, like, if Miami lands Durant, I don't know. I might be crazy enough to go buy a DeAndre Ayton jersey just to thank him, just to say thank you for making it impossible practically for the Suns to make the move for Durant. And now Durant, and look, I know that Brooklyn is saying, well, we're unhappy with the deals that are going on right now. They're not giving us enough and this and that. And the reality is setting in. The man is 34 years old. It's a bad contract on the back end of it. And so you're really trading. You can only trade for Durant if you have a championship window. You're not trading for Durant if you're Detroit. You're not trading for Durant if you're Charlotte. So unless you're one of those teams that's on the brink that needs one star to get you over the hump, then you're SOL, Brooklyn. How many teams? And a bad team to trade for Durant and give up the house, Durant then has to say, oh, yeah, no, I'll play with you guys for the next 4 years. No, he's going to say, F you, I'm not playing there. So the DeAndre Ayton move has become the move of all moves for the Miami Heat. It's like Anthony Carter's agent screwing up and allowing the Heat to get Shaq. Because if Anthony Carter's agent picks up the phone and sends in the option in time, Miami is fiscally locked up and not able to get, Shaquille O'Neal. Now, who's to say, who's to know? There might be a little bit of a deal. Maybe that's why Anthony Carter's always got a job. I'm just saying. Anyway, you never know. But either way, breaks happen. And that was a break for the Heat, and you got Shaq out of it. This is a break for the Heat. Will you get Durant out of it? And the good thing for Miami, the most important thing, and we'll talk to Ira about this at the bottom of the hour, there really isn't going to be a lot of competition for the Miami Heat because there aren't a lot of teams that have a championship window. There's only a couple. And some of them are already set in their cap. Some of them already have their team set, so they don't have to alter it. So that limits that also. It has to be the teams that feel they're a star away from putting themselves over the hump. Who's the star next to Devin Booker? The other scorer? There really isn't one. Can't count on CP3 night in and night out. Ayton's not that kind of guy. So that's why maybe they wanted to make the move for Durant. Jimmy Butler. Tyler hasn't developed into that guy. Up until last year, because, we have to, not this year, that PJ wasn't going to be that guy. Bam's not that guy. Right? Duncan's not that guy. So you got to go trade for that guy. And that's the thing. There's only a couple of teams that literally are one superstar away from saying we can win it all. And the Miami Heat, with their depth, their defense, and Jimmy Butler, along with the Kevin Durant, they got a hell of a shot at winning it all. So what is the competition? And I like the thought that, Brooklyn says, well, they'd rather keep him. Well, problem is your star already said he doesn't want to go. He doesn't want to stay. He wants to go. And he already gave you 2 destinations on where he wants to go to, Miami and Phoenix. So in his mind, the divorce has started. You ever gotten a new job and you give your old job 2 weeks? How's that second week of work? Is it the best week of work you've ever put in your life? Or is it one of the worst weeks you've ever put in your life? Because your mind is already moving on. As Van Halen would say, you got 1 foot out the door. Right? Because it's human nature. I'm leaving. So you're kind of half-assing it down the stretch. Admit it. You gone. Your history. So he's got 1 foot out the door already at this point. Don't tell him to come back because it's not going to be pretty. So they could talk about, oh, yeah, no, we want him back. And sure, but you're not going to. Have you seen Durant? Have you watched the petulant child that is Kevin Durant? Yeah, he's not going to be happy with this. So that's the interesting twist about all of this. We could talk about competition, but really, reality, how much competition can there possibly be for a 34-year-old superstar that it's got 4 years left on a deal? So he'll be 38 years old when it's all said and done. And realistically, you might get 2 more years of elite play. At 37 and at 38 years, I don't know. I'm hoping you get 2 elite years out of him as it is. Remember, anybody remember what Jaylen Brown was doing to him on defense? Things that you had never seen anybody do to Kevin Durant. Which, those are the early signs of, you just can't do that anymore. And I know it was part of being tired and being the only one out there and carrying the team and playing 40-something minutes every night, and that it takes a toll on you. But last year was no cake for Durant, and he knows it. And he knows what it's like to be around people that are unreliable. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and now he's got Ben Simmons. Why do you think that's why he wants out? It didn't work out. So the talk of them saying, oh, no, we'd rather keep him, that sounds good in theory. It's not the reality. The competition for the Miami Heat, that sounds good in theory. It's not the reality. There aren't going to be a lot of teams competing with the Miami Heat for Kevin Durant services because there aren't a lot of teams in the position to win a title in the next 2 years, and they're 1 star away. And so the Brooklyn Nets have themselves a all-time player. The problem is they have him at the worst time to try to trade him. He's at the back 9 of his career. He's probably nobody's looking at him that he's going to give you 4 elite years because it's just not normal. And he's had a whole bunch of big injuries. So that's the other thing. He's kind of injury prone too. So there's a risk to all of this. I get it. If you're the Heat, you got to take this risk. You know, the Heat didn't have better options than Jimmy Butler. So the back end of that contract, it is what it is. But if you win a title out of it, and so far they've gotten to the championship and to the Eastern Conference Finals, they've done a pretty damn good job with the Jimmy Butler pickup. You bring in Durant, you get a Kyle Lowry that maybe is in shape, and you've got Bam. You get enough people around, you'll be fine. But the one thing that I want to remind you, when they keep talking about, all the competition out there won't be a lot of competition for the services for Kevin Durant because of the scenario that everybody is in, including Durant. All right, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, don't forget Liquor Split is a proud sponsor of our program. We've been telling you about Liquor Split for a while now. It is Miami's own liquor store. So if you're in downtown Miami or in Coral Gables or in Wechete, Miami Beach, Liberty City, Brickell, man, tap that app. Only $2.99 flat fee. Dollar goes to helping homelessness in Miami. So are you listening to me, South Miami and Coco Plum and Virginia Key and Little Haiti? Tap that app. Download the app, Android or, of course, iOS, and tap that app. And we're going to give you 15% off your first order. How about that? Big O15. Use the code Big O15. Are you listening to me, Miami Shores, West Little River, Doral, Fontainebleau? Use the code Big O15 and get 15% off at Liquor Split. Download the app and tap it, baby. Get your favorite liquor there. Vodka, rum, beer, chips, all kinds of stuff. Big O, why don't they have shootouts at the end of regulation in the MLS games? They have so many draws and shootouts. Would be fun to watch. They have shootouts in the MLS. What are you talking about, dude? Do you watch the games? They have shootouts. in the MLS. Yeah. Have you heard anything about KD to Golden State? Yeah. I mean, so far there's been talk, about KD to Golden State, KD to Phoenix, KD to Toronto, KD to Miami, and I don't know what else. But yeah, there's been all kinds of different talk now. Supposedly Steph Curry said that they were fine, and then somebody reported that Steph Curry reached out to him. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, at this point. I can't tell you that I've heard specifically about that, Jesse M says, I watched the Nick Bonacani doc on HBO Max, The Many Lives of Nick Bonacani. Very good. My father's team and player. Yes. Yes, Nick Bonacani was a special man. He is just absolutely awesome. Loved Inside the NFL with Nick and Len Dawson. Man, that was like a religion to me. That was what I remember watching that when we only had HBO as one channel. That's it. It was just an antenna that you would add to your house. And then On TV came too as like a competitor to HBO. But before a lot of our homes down here were able to get cable, you would order simply HBO with an antenna. That's it. It was pretty cool. It was fun. And Inside the NFL was one of those things that, man, it was like a Howard Cosell Monday night halftime highlights. Because again, remember, it's nowadays you take for granted that highlights are at your fingertips and they're there right away and they're turned around within seconds and all that good stuff. But the reality is back in those days, man, we didn't have a lot of those options. So Bonacani is one of those guys that got a special place in my heart, not just because he was a phenomenal Miami Dolphin and a champion and a great man and all of that, but hosting Inside the NFL was one of my favorite shows growing up. And talk about must-see TV. And there was no DVR or anything like that, So you had to be right in front of the tube at a specific time to watch it. Getting the HBO magazine every month, the little TV guide that they would send you, man, that was like that. You felt like you were in another world at that point because you were so used to TV with only a couple of channels. All of a sudden, you're going to give me HBO where I can watch all kinds of movies and stuff. And yeah, that was like you were like on cloud 9 in those days. And music videos too back in those days too, because I remember when they would have, if a movie ended like at 45 and there was 15 minutes left to the top of the hour, they didn't start the movie right away. They would have fill-in stuff for 15 minutes. And sometimes it'd be music videos, music shorts, like Joe's Apartment with all the cockroaches or whatever it was. I remember all of that. So, yeah, Nick Bonacani leads me to that kind of stuff, my man. That's kind of where my mind wanders, and I start to think about those old days when we were able to watch all of that. Nelson sends in a super chat. Thank you, sir. As always, he says Tiger Woods and Henry Ruggs in Spanish, Tigre Bosque and Enrique Alfombra. Tercero? Oh, the third. Okay. I see. All right. Nice guy, met him in Manhattan. Giant hands. Crazy. Yeah, hell of a player, man. Hell of a player. Big O, bring back Sports Jam Live, bro. Those Monday nights with Hank were awesome before Monday night games. Yeah. Remember that? That was fun too. Yeah. Daniel Guzman says, good morning from Spokane. Driving up Anchorage, Alaska next Monday, and we'll be listening and tuning in. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you out there, man. Big time. Big O, we had to wait for the news and weather before we could watch sports for the result and possibly some highlights. Yes. Pat says, my uncle had HBO. It would be snow. It would just snow until the channel booted up and evening with the iconic sound. Yeah. I'm with you. Big O, what is your favorite cartoon of all time? Well, I'm a Spider-Man guy. Spidey will always be my favorite. Now, if you want me to go regular cartoon, not a superhero cartoon, I think I may have to go Scooby, bro. Scooby or Jetsons? Probably. Yeah, Scooby-Doo. Would have gone away with it if it wasn't for you damn kids. Let's see, what else do we have here? Rockin' Spider-Man. Damn right. Spider-Man is always my thing. I know, GP Trap, you're the Batman guy, but I'm the Spider-Man guy for sure. Speed Racer. You know, that's actually, now that I think about it, Speed Racer is right up there, man. I love Speed Racer. I'd get up earlier in the morning to watch Speed Racer. Because here, not all of you live in South Florida, but if you lived in Miami, you would catch Speed Racer like at 6 in the morning or something like that. So you would have to get up a little extra early. For a time also, they had Speed Racer in the afternoon. Again, for you youngins out there that don't realize it, we only had cartoons at specific times. Early in the mornings, okay? Saturday and Sunday mornings. And then once we got the UFH channels, the 33s and the 39s, we got some afternoon cartoons. You know? But it was one of those deals. John Yang says, smoke a joint and watch Tom and Jerry. All right. Used to love watching Inside the NFL. The narration, of course. Yeah, John Facenda. There's nothing like John Facenda, my brother. I agree, Big O. I prefer the old school cartoons over news. I don't even watch New School, so I wouldn't even know if New School cartoons are kind of like I know New School rap is garbage. You know what I mean? I know a lot of the New School music is garbage. But the cartoons I don't watch, so I can't even say if they're good or bad. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. Big O, did you Casey Kasem with the voice of Shaggy? You want me to do Casey Kasem with the voice of Shaggy? That would be a twist if I can do that. Trying to think of how I could do something like that. We are transitioning my son from the crib to the bed before the new baby is here, and he specifically wanted Spider-Man sheets. He loves some Spidey. Well, then you know the kid is special when he's got Spidey senses. That's it. Big O, which Scooby-Doo was your favorite? Mine was one of the ones in the 70s that had the guest star appearance like Sonny and Cher and Mama Cass. You're asking me about a favorite episode now? I can't remember a famous episode. That I can't remember, my brother. Epix has a documentary on the women who rock. All the great women I was growing up with: Hart, Blondie, Patty Smythe, Chrissy Hine. Only thing that sucks is they haven't aged well. I think Nancy Wilson has aged well. I think so. Chrissy Hine looks pretty good for her age, and she's in great shape, man. She stayed skinny too. Top of all of that, wow, I'm impressed with Chrissy Hine, man. She's able to keep. As we get older, it's hard to keep that weight off. God, it gets so much harder to keep that weight off. Devin Jordan, thank you for the love in the super chat. I remember Saturday morning cartoons with Sunday Samurai in the 80s. There you go. The only samurai I remember is Hung Kung Fui. The new school music is garbage, but I must say Machine Gun Kelly's music is pretty good. No, there's some good stuff still. I mean, there are good artists, new artists that are good. You know, there's just a lot of that garbage. What's that? No, it's not called monotone, but it's what's that called? That crap that they use to alter their voices. Too much of that garbage. All right, let's talk some basketball. Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty. Let me put my headsets on because now we're gonna do a little conversation. Good morning, Ira. How are you doing, sir?
Good to be back home where it's not 110 degrees and my skin is not frying. You could literally have fried an egg on our skin when we were out there in Vegas. And like I wrote the other day, I checked in for the final game. I think it was Wednesday. And even the guy said, oh, look, it's going down to 104 tomorrow. Oh, my God. Don't ever complain about the South Florida heat until you spend 10 days in Vegas, because you will absolutely fry out there.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, on Thursday when we left late Thursday night at 1 a.m. That day, it was a cool 94 because It rained. It actually rained.
Yes.
And so it really, and then there was cloud cover over Vegas. So it actually brought the temperature way down. And 94 normally is a joke, but because of dry heat, it actually felt all right, actually. Like we walked out,
it was crazy. And they said it was, even for Vegas, it was a heat wave. And one day I just decided I was going to go on my 10-mile walk, and I sunscreened up and everything. But the reflection from the sidewalk absolutely seared my ankles just because of the reflective sun there. So, yeah, I had to get out, had to get some exercise. But, man, it was brutal.
Wow. Just do it inside a gym, dude. Come on, man. Not on that heat. You're risking all kinds of stuff. All right. So, yes, auto-tune. That's what I was talking about. Anyway, all right. So let's I was talking about this earlier before you came on. And, it's funny to hear Brooklyn. Well, they're not impressed with the offers. They'd rather keep him and anything and all that. He's got one foot out the door. He already told you he's leaving. It's like when you give 2 weeks at work, that second week, you're really kind of half-assing it already. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to keep him. That would be a problem. Plus, we've seen petulant child Durant. But here's the bigger thing. He's 34 with 4 years left. There is not going to be a lot of competition for Kevin Durant. And it's not because he's not a great player. Of course, he's a great player. But he's a great player with a very short window. And the only teams that should be smart enough to make any kind of offer is the teams that think they're a Kevin Durant away from a title, because Kevin Durant is not going to go to another team that is a couple of players away, including Kevin Durant, because he's going to look around and say, I'm not going anywhere on this team. Get the hell out of here. I'm not coming here. So in a way, this whole Ayton thing has become the blessing of everything, because it kind of takes Phoenix a little bit out of it already. And really, if you look at it deep down, the Brooklyn Nets cannot expect a long line out the door, because there aren't a lot of teams that can, one, afford to make the trade, and two, that it makes any sense to make the trade, like the Miami Heat. Agree or disagree on that?
I agree, because, again, the teams that would take a 34-year-old with 4 years left through his 38th birthday are the teams who can't get players in free agency, the Sacramentos, the Indianas, the teams that aren't going anywhere. Those are the teams that take the desperate type reaches, because they're not going to get someone in free agency, so they grab someone in a trade. Sacramento going for Sabonis, the Pacers' long shot chance, which never was going to happen with Ayton, and wind up sort of screwed there. Here is the Heat's deal for Kevin Durant, and it's debated very strongly internally, and it would involve Bam Adebayo, and that does matter. And so what would happen is the Heat would send Bam Adebayo to Brooklyn. The Nets maybe would or wouldn't want Tyler Hero and would prefer draft choices. So the Heat might have to send out Tyler Hero elsewhere for 2 first-round picks. Now, there are plenty of teams, like I spoke about, who can't get free agents, who have a chance to lock up Tyler Hero to a long-term deal on his rookie scale extension, who might be willing to give up 2 first-round picks, and then the Heat fill in the math from there. So again, you're talking about a 3-team trade. You're talking about an Andy Ellisberg special. I think what the Nets are banking on is this. You mentioned, Big O, how Kevin Durant is 1 foot out the door, is giving his 2 weeks notice, but there's still time. And we've seen one thing with KD. He sways with the wind. It's great to be here. It's awful to be here. Get me out of here. I want to win. I think the Nets are still hoping that in the interim, before they have to do something before the start of September training camp, that Kevin Durant comes back around and goes, you know what? The grass maybe isn't greener on the other side. It looks like Kyrie doesn't need to be vaccinated this year to play in New York because of the mandate in New York City. We're actually pretty good. Maybe this is as good as it gets. So I think what the Nets are doing intentionally, Big O, is slow playing this. Because again, you and I, we talk about the instant gratification, sort of society we live in. It's still late July. There's still plenty of time for all this to play out. It's not like teams that are desperate for Kevin Durant still won't be interested in August or even September. He's a great, great player. Matter of fact, I would put it this way. You add Kevin Durant to any of the leading contenders in the East, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Heat, you added Milwaukee, any of those teams, they instantly become the favorite in the East. And like you mentioned, Big O, when a single player can make you the favorite in your conference, you're patient. You're willing to wait things out because you know it makes a difference, and maybe you're willing to give up a little too much to live in the moment. Because Kevin Durant, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, and whatever it takes to fill in makes you a pretty damn good team and has you right up there with the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Celtics.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. There's no doubt about it. The only thing is, when you were talking about those teams, Sacramento, whatever, that they would have to make a move for a 34-year-old, here's the thing. I don't think he's going to go to those kind of places.
Oh, he's not.
So and so those teams will not end up making those trades. That's why that's going to limit where he can go and where they can send him.
Oh, they're screwed. The Nets are screwed. Absolutely.
So here's the other caveat to all of this. Is that Sean Marks also slow playing it because in the end, this is going to be a black eye on him. One way or another, it becomes a black eye if they both walk out the door. But if somehow you slow play it and you somehow sweet talk them into coming back, then at least your experiment is still alive and you didn't fail overall, because this does become one hell of a stain on Sean Marks that your crazy ass counted on Harden and counted on Kyrie, and now you're also counting on Ben Simmons, and and now you lost Durant and all of this. So in a way, how much of this is also Sean Marks trying to save his ass too as a GM,
or to come up with a blockbuster trade? For example, Rudy Gobert was an absolute cornerstone of the Utah Jazz, but everyone is praising Danny Ainge right now. He got 5 first-round picks. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, he's not a center while he's a great center defensively. He's really not the kind of center you want.
He's still one of the top players in the NBA. Yeah. He still is an all NBA level center. So you have that. So I think what happened is Danny Ainge said
by the way, in the 90s, you don't make that trade.
Right. Well, different world. Yeah, different world. And the 90s, Bam Adebayo is a power forward and not a center. So everything is different. But Danny Ainge set the bar so high that if a Sean Marks wants to say, hey, we are starting over, we're getting this, it's all of a sudden 4 or 5 first-round picks. The whole world has changed because he made that move. And like I wrote in my Sunday column in the Sun Sentinel, I really hate this whole thing that you can appease fans with draft picks that don't even play this year, that the Utah Jazz are going to be selling garbage to their fans at NBA prices. So just like you have the Ted Stepien rule where you can't trade out consecutive first-round picks, I think there should almost be a limit on how much you can sell to your fans that, hey, we have the future. We have all these picks. Look, Sam Presti has done this for years in Oklahoma City.
What was the name of the A's owner?
Well, Ted Stepien was the one with the rule.
The A's owner. What's the name of the guy?
Charlie O'Finley, right? Charlie O'Finley, who would throw anyone and everyone out there and trade his entire roster until the commissioner stepped in. But we Kuhn at the time, so you have that also. So Sean Marks is sort of either has to get a grand slam, not even a home run, but a grand slam trade, or has to try to make it work. But you know what? The players hold all the cards. And I don't think fans hold it as much against the GMs anymore, because they realize if you can force your way out with 4 years left on your contract, then there's only so much you can do. Look what James Harden did in Houston. Played like garbage for 2 weeks, and the Rockets said, this is untenable, and they traded him to the Nets. What does James Harden do when he wants out with the Nets? Plays like garbage for 2 weeks to a month, and the Nets go, this is untenable, and trade him to the 76ers. the way they are forcing hands players right now, you're really operating your team as a general manager with two hands tied behind your back.
I'm with you there. All right, so as the Heat Nation is wondering, Ira, what is the Heat doing now? Because reports say they're trying to find ways to get first rounders in order to make this trade. If that's the case, then if that's the case, which we have no idea if that's true or not, but if that's the case, then that means there's a target. There's something that they must have agreed on some kind of a plateau that's what the Heat is trying to get to right now.
The target is two things. Obviously, it's Durant and Donovan Mitchell. We know that.
Yeah.
But there's other teams who don't necessarily want to take on Tyler Hero for this reason. When you trade for Tyler Hero, he's in his extension window. He basically wants to get a 4 or 5 year deal, upwards of maybe $150 million. What I think could happen instead is the Heat trade Tyler Hero off, like I mentioned, for a pair of first-round picks. So a team like Utah that's rebuilding doesn't have to pay Tyler Hero. That's the reason Utah is not as interested in RJ Barrett either.
Right,
He's in his extension window as well. So I think, again, this is the Andy Ellisberg multiple team scenario. Okay, we trade Tyler Hero off somewhere. We get 2 quality picks. We throw that in with our 3 quality picks. Well, all of a sudden, Duncan Robinson, 5 first rounders, maybe 6 if you count the right to Jovic. He could be traded as soon as August 1st. And another filler player. For a team looking for a haul like that, you can give 5 first-round picks. And you can give 5 first-round picks better than the Knicks picks, because for everyone talking about these Knicks picks, they're all protected. They're top 8.
Well, supposedly they're going to unprotect 4 of them.
Well, if they unprotect, then they have to do even more. So you're talking about a waiting game even more, going back to those original trade partners, plus the Knicks picks. The one thing I will say is this, and I actually saw this, I think it was Tony Jones out in Salt Lake who wrote about this. Heat picks are garbage for this reason. The Heat are always good. The Heat are always drafting in the 20s. One thing everyone's talking about is a pick swap. So in other words, you trade for a Heat pick. If they have a worse record than you, you swap picks. They're not going to have a worse record than you. Pat Riley's a crazy man. He plays to win every season. He would rather be the number 6 seed and try to defeat a top seed in the first round than go to the lottery. One time since I've been covering this Heat, they tanked. The Michael Beasley year. And the reason they tanked that year.
And it didn't work out. And it didn't work out after all.
It didn't work out because they didn't get Derrick Rose. But it's because Dwayne Wade, and then when he was a useful player, Udonis Haslem were injured at midseason. And that's when Andy Ellisberg and Pat Riley went to the office suite and said, you know what? It's not going to happen for us this year. So let's bring in Cassette Powell. Let's bring in Stefan Lazme. Let's bring in those guys, and we'll deal with the results. But other than that, the Heat are played to win every year. You're going to wind up at best with a number 10 pick like with Justice Winslow when they got. Otherwise, look at Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo, 13 and 14 picks. More recently, 27 with Jovic. Heat picks are garbage. And that's the fault of the Heat for actually satisfying their fans by trying to win.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. The Heat do it the right way all the time. And they win, and they win championships, and they get everywhere. And listen, you can say whatever you want about the Jimmy Butler signing. So far, it's been a monster signing because you've gotten to a finals and you've gotten to an Eastern Conference Finals. I know
like
it's about
you said,
winning
there's
the
2
title.
parts to that. The signing, terrific. What they gave up at Josh Richardson, Hassan Whiteside, a first-round pick, they came out ahead. The extension when you take Jimmy to his 38th birthday. But again, he's a crazy person. We see him the way he works out. If anyone is going to keep himself in shape, and Dwayne Wade was a contributor at 36 also and kept his body in shape. It's not one of these guys where he used to be fat. And you say to yourself, is he going to go back to that? Those guys, the Antoine Walkers, who will once again be. It's like you and I. You go up, you go down in the weight. It's hard when you get older. But guys like Jimmy Butler, the way he's chiseled, Dwayne Wade, the way he was chiseled, and Pat Riley kept him chiseled. Alonzo Mourning at the end, same kind of guy. The Heat keep their guys going. The Heat are in good shape. Again,
Alonzo still looks fantastic, man.
Oh, he can still beat you up right now, Big O. And you couldn't.
Oh, no, he can always beat me up. That had nothing to do with it. That's the easiest thing for him. I'm just saying, as you get older, it's harder to keep the weight off. That man looks fantastic,
Yes,
dude.
and
I
with the
mean,
kidney illness and all that, and what he's been through in his holistic approach, he's really paid attention to his body.
Jesus.
And just to see Zoe in good health is very meaningful. I agree.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic to see the kind of shape that he's in. All right, so basically, it's all about Durant, and that's what we kind of been talking about the show. It's Durant. We're not talking Donovan until Durant is over, correct?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
and there might become a point, though. And this is when Danny Ainge is going to force a hand, Big O. What if a week or two from now, Danny Ainge calls the Heat and goes, look, I have my deal with Team X. And he's even honest and says, I can get X, Y, and Z. When Danny Ainge does last call for Donovan Mitchell, that's when the Heat's going to have to make a decision. That's when the Heat's going to say, we feel we have a 38% chance of getting Kevin Durant. Is that enough to wait on him or not? And my perfect example of that is this. You say yes, and I agree. In 2010, everyone was trying to get Chris Bosh, and everyone was trying to get LeBron James and Dwayne Wade when they were free agents. A whole bunch of other teams held off because they thought they had a chance. And remember what happened? The Chicago Bulls had to settle for Carlos Boozer. The New York Knicks had to settle for Amari Stoudemire. So at some point, if you wait on the sidelines too long, you wind up with far less value. I think what Danny Ainge does is he knows he's competing against the Kevin Durant trade. All the draft picks that Danny Ainge might get might go for Kevin Durant. I think, like in poker, at a certain point, Danny Ainge is going to call the table. Okay, that's it. I'm calling. What's your best offer? By August 17th, I'm trading Donovan Mitchell. That's when the Heat's going to have to make a decision.
All right. We'll see if we'll see what happens in that case there. Let me ask you on the Ayton thing. Why didn't Indiana poison pill that thing? Because apparently it was like a straight up deal.
It was grotesque incompetence, and I only have one reason for that. They also waived a bunch of players and stretched their salaries in order to make the whole thing work. They went out of it. I think there's only one reason. And again, for people who don't know, when you extend an offer sheet, you can make it toxic. You can make it that a team that is over the cap has to pay more money up front, that there's a trade kicker. You can never get rid of the guy. Indiana didn't do any of that. Most teams.
And you're going up against what is considered a cheap owner. So,
right. So you can really force his hand. He has allowed talent to go before. The only reason I can think is this. They did a favor for the agent because the agent has a player down the road who they're interested in or they have on their roster. So you did him a solid. You knew you were not going to get the player, but now you're in better shape with Agent X, and that's what this is all about. This whole league is all about being in better shape with Jeff Schwartz or Mark Bartelstein or Rich Paul or those guys. That's CAA. That's what it's all about also. Indiana were played for fools publicly. So I do hope there is something behind the scenes that makes more sense because they could have forced the hand and absolutely gotten the player from the Phoenix Suns, and instead they did none of that. And Phoenix played it perfectly for this reason. Big O, the max an outside player can get from an outside team is only 4 years. The max you can get for your own team is 5 years. So Phoenix wound up having to commit to less by letting someone else do the dirty work for them. Now, you might say you have an unhappy player, but players are never happy anyway.
And so that fifth year a lot of times is a player option that they usually pick up.
Yeah, and it's something else. So it's only 3 years, but Phoenix got the shortest possible deal with smaller possible raises by letting someone else handle their dirty work. At the end of the day, it helped out Phoenix's payroll.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Didn't think about that. All right. So walk me through the drama now that we saw over the weekend. So LeBron goes to the Drew League, right? And he goes 42 points, 16 rebounds in the Drew League, in the Pro-Am Drew League. Kyrie was supposedly going to play, but did not show up and did not play. But why? Because he was with a Lakers assistant coach in a kids camp. Now, mind you, he's a Brooklyn Net, not a Laker. But the talk is he wants to be a Laker. The talk is he wants to do whatever he can to get to Los Angeles. So is it LeBron dying for attention? That's why he goes to the Drew League. And then this whole Kyrie drama on top of all of this. How does this all end up? Because it seems like there are no takers for Kyrie outside of the Lakers. Nobody wants this guy.
No, I mean, your first point there is this has not been the summer of LeBron. This has been the summer of everyone but LeBron. It's been about the new kids and the extensions and everything. And yeah, he wants to keep his name out there. That's who he is. That's what he does. Look, he went on his show, came back on HBO this week. So it's also a commercial for him, for his show, to come watch him show. And there were a bunch of clips released from that, the Brittany Griner clips, the clip about the racist Boston fans. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to pump his product. So, that was part of it. The Kyrie thing to me is a different part of it. It's the unreliability and the unexpectedness you have going on right now, as you see LeBron doing his damage here in the Drew League. And this is where Kyrie, everyone was showing up to see both of those players, and Kyrie doesn't show up.
Oh, sorry for the noise there.
Is that LeBron James, when he says he's going to be somewhere and do something, does it. You still don't know about Kyrie. After all these months of missing games because emotionally he didn't feel right, because he didn't want to be vaccinated, because he winds up someone else, because of the election results or January 6th have him in a bad mood, man, you still don't know about Kyrie. So if you trade for Kyrie, are you going to get 80 games or 60 games or 40 games, or simply not know day-to-day when he's going to be there? I can't recall any other player like that. There are players who've made statements by not showing up. We've seen that before. But to have someone like that who just didn't show up at all, even in the Drew League on Saturday, it just shows you can't count on Kyrie. You can count on LeBron when the spotlight's on, because that's who he is.
Yeah, well, he definitely put on a show. That place was, I mean, it's normally loaded, but it was loaded to the gills. Obviously, they found out that he was going to be there. Quentin Richardson, obviously former Heat player, was the guy I think that invited him over or something like that. He helped
pull it together, and DeMar DeRozan played on the team with LeBron, so it became a fun little game.
Yeah. Wow, DeRozan, man, what a year he had. The other thing I was going to ask you, on Wednesday night, which was the last game that I saw, because I didn't see the Friday night game. I saw it on television, obviously, but I didn't see it live, and obviously the Saturday game. But on Wednesday night, a kid by the name of Jamal Cain came in and had a couple of inside baskets. One of them reminded me a little bit of Jimmy Butler, because he was taking on contact, and he got a sweet little hit off the glass. And so it seemed like he started to pick up some momentum as the games went on a little bit, and ended up getting that was it Exhibit 10 contract a little bit. So
training camp invitation, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Cain. Is this a kid that is now becoming a little bit of a find for them?
Yeah, I like Jamal Cain. He's a two-way player, played at Marquette for 4 years, finished closer to home at Oakland University, was co-MVP of the Horizon League. Sort of the same track as Kendrick Nunn, who started at Illinois, then finished off at Oakland. He's a two-way player. He had a fantastic chase down block in the Saturday game against the Clippers at the end that helped the Heat clinch the game. I think he's good enough for a two-way contract, let alone an Exhibit 10. And I'm going to be very curious about a couple of things. Right now, they redid their two ways, like you and I spoke about when they were out there. They said Michael Mulder and Devontae Smart, not good enough. Goodbye. They added Darius Days, a nice PJ Tucker-looking power forward, 6'7", built like SpongeBob. Maybe he can give him some minutes there, do it by committee with Highsmith, with Martin, with Days. They give the other two-way contract to Marcus Garrett, who is an absolute bulldog, and you and I have spoken about for 2 years whether he's closer to Briante Weber or Patrick Beverley. But I think Jamal Cain is more of a two-way player than Marcus Garrett. Again, Marcus Garrett, for now, has a two-way contract. That doesn't mean any Exhibit 10 can be converted to a two-way. I think Jamal Cain has a decent chance. I think he's a nice, young, athletic prospect who can do things for this team. And especially with Jovic being so raw and probably not ready at the start of the season, this season, I think a guy like Jamal Cain might even get some minutes this season if he makes the final roster. I would keep an eye out on him. I think he showed in Summer League. Remember, he missed 6 days because he had COVID in the San Francisco and the California Classic. He arrived late. But every game he played after COVID, he showed that he has some special talents. That's a guy to keep an eye out on. Absolutely, Big O.
And by the way, I keep saying Jovic should go to the G League, but you enlighten me on something. You think he won't go to the G League?
6'8" centers who were so hungry that they use their 6 fouls a day, and they will just simply eat the kid raw like raw meat. That's not a place a skilled big man gets better. He gets better working with Alonzo Mourning. He gets better working against Bam and Yurtseven, which will be good if both aren't playing in the Heat gym. So I think he can get more work done and achieve with his skill set in the Heat's gym than the Sioux Falls Skyforce. Maybe here or there you set him up for the right matchup, but I don't need to see him playing 6-7 centers. That's not going to expand his game. Might be wrong, but we'll see.
What are you working on the Sun Sentinel so folks can
I wrote a story. Anthony Chang wrote this Sunday in the Herald. I wrote it today about Tyler Hero, his extension, just to remind people. Once Tyler Hero signs the extension, he becomes poison pill and untradeable until the 2023 offseason. So you have to, I wrote, it almost becomes toxic in the trade thing. Again, the Heat's extensions mostly have been done late, closer to the start of the season. Justice Winslow on the eve of the season when he got his in 2019, 2020. Josh Richardson was September of that year. There still is time. I can understand why Tyler Hero wants his money now in the security, but the Heat can't put Tyler in a trade for Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant or multiple first-round picks if he gets his extension. All of a sudden, his trade number, instead of a very workable $6 million, becomes $25 million for another team, and that makes it harder. So again, the Heat aren't doing wrong by Tyler Hero. They're just slow playing the common sense element of that. So I wrote about that in the Sun Sentinel, posted today in your paper tomorrow.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Make sure you subscribe and catch him twice a week here doing his thing with the Accra Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Ira, as always, thank you. Appreciate you.
Catch you again Friday for another accurate Pembroke Pines report. Thank you, Big O.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Hour 1 is done. Hour number 2 is next.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Evolve your training and step into the new era of muscle recovery. Red Recover.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
All statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, or I'm sorry, good morning, all out there. Although it might be afternoon for some of you in some parts of the world that you might be watching. You never know. It's just one of those deals. Appreciate all of you out there. Of course, if you're on the chat board, thank you. Don't forget to smash the hell out of your like button, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Smash the hell out of that like button there. Don't forget to subscribe to our other channel. Subscribe to this channel. Help us get to 13,000. But the other one is Big O Show Cuts also. So please subscribe there. Hour number 2 is on the air. Alan Poupart will be joining us here in hour number 2. So we'll have a little fun with Alan, and we'll talk a little Miami Dolphins. The Rooks report tomorrow for the Dolphins. Yes, sir. We get no access, but it's all right. It's all good. Next week, everybody gets in there, and now we'll get going, and we'll have some fun. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun this Dolphins season. And, you know, one of the things that about this Dolphins season is it's kind of a prove it thing, right? And everybody talks about Tua and all that stuff. Oh, and he's got to prove this, that, and, you know, whatever silliness. I think more than anything, I think Tua really looks forward to this. But really, it's all about Mike McDaniel. It's all about Josh Boyer, you know, because McDaniel takes over as the head coach, doesn't really make a lot of changes in two parts of the football team, which is the defensive side and special teams. And so special teams was pretty solid last year. Defense was all right last year, but it's got to get better. And Josh Boyer now has total control of the defense and total say on what's going on. And he's got to kind of prove, right? Because a lot of people look at Flo as the reason why the defense played well, right? It's funny how they don't blame Flo in the first 8 games when they were 1-7, but they credit Flo in the second half. Whatever. But either way, Josh Boyer's got to prove now that he can be a standalone defensive coordinator, because a lot of people either will tell you he made the calls, or some people will tell you, no, Flo helped out and was making calls. Now, whether he made the calls or not, I don't know. But the front office must know what he did. So they left him in charge. So they felt comfortable about what he did last year. Maybe he did make the calls. Maybe Flo was just overseeing everything because he was one of those guys that was very controlling of everything. So now Josh Boyer's got to prove that he's the guy, that he can run a defense on his own, that he can get the guys in the right position, that he can scheme and out-scheme his opponent week in and week out. And then on the flip side, Mike McDaniel. Here's a guy that's been under the Shanahan shadow for a long time now. And he's run the offense. He's made the play calls too. Now he has to prove that he can run a team on his own, which is an enormous challenge, going from special teams, defensive or offensive coordinator to make the jump to head coach. And the other thing that Mike fights is how he looks. His stature, because he's not a big guy, because he wears glasses, because he looks kind of geeky. Is this guy really a head coach? Can this guy really be a head coach? All of those things. So, yeah, sure, players got to prove themselves and all of that. But believe it or not, those coaches have probably more to prove than anybody else. Because even with Tua, to have won a championship as a quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He has played at the highest level in college. So as a player, he's already proven that he can win. Some of you have forgotten about that, and you make it sound like he's, piece of crap. But, these guys have not been able to do stuff like that on their own. So this is kind of their chance. This is McDaniel's chance to really separate himself from the whole Shanahan shadow. That even if he made some of the play calls or a lot of the play calls last year, he's still not going to get the credit. Even if he made play calls that others used or designed stuff over the years that others used and succeeded with it, he's not getting the credit for it. Now, while everybody has praised him for his abilities to do all of those things, he still has to prove it as a head coach. He still has to handle adversity. He still has to handle losses. He still has to handle injuries. He still has to handle all kinds of different adversity, disagreements, and things like that. He hasn't dealt with any of that as the leader of a football team. So really, that's the fun challenge about all of this, is watching these coaches get that opportunity. It's like you. When you first got that promotion to be that manager, to be the general manager, to be the assistant manager, to be whatever, and be some kind of a leader in your business, that it changes completely than you being the employee taking the orders. Now you are setting the agendas. And that becomes a challenge for you, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And that's the exciting part about watching this season, is watching the growth of Mike McDaniel as a head coach and Josh Boyer as a defensive coordinator. I'm rooting for both because obviously I'm a Dolphins fan. So I want both of them to succeed. But while we're always looking at, Austin Jackson's got to play better, and, Tua's got to get it done, and this and that, and can Tyreek Hill have the same kind of success here that he had in Kansas City, and all of these, Jalen Phillips, can he better 8.5 sacks? And we ask ourselves all of these questions about the players. Those coaches are the ones that are really on the line, and those guys have to be the ultimate difference makers. So let's hope McDaniel and Josh Boyer can get it done. All right, what we got? Ragin says 11 wins and an arbitrary metric. Peyton will be in Dallas next year. Big O, I'm over the moon with training camp. Time to shut down the doubters up. Yep, I'm with you there. I'm looking forward to the Fins season and hoping this isn't another mirage. The Dolphins will never amount to anything. Sounds like my teachers. You'll never amount to anything. Derek Sibley's excited. Alexander says, Big O, I've talked to a lot of Dolphin fans, and they feel if he doesn't win 11 games, he'll be fired after 1 year. Well. Problem is, Alexander, you're talking to fans. I love you guys, but most of you don't know anything at all. You'll know football, but you have no insight whatsoever on the football team. So, Alexander, you're talking to the wrong effing people. But I love the fans, but you have no insight whatsoever on the team. But we love you, fans. I've been talking to a lot of fans. Yeah, that's great insight. Yeah, that'll definitely set you up. Too funny. Oh, Lordy. Did you guys catch Joel Embiid? Pretty cool stuff. Joel Embiid was at what I would consider, I don't know, maybe the best weddings out there. Jewish weddings. I've been to a couple of Jewish weddings, and I got to tell you, they are fun. And there's Joel Embiid. That is awesome. Apparently, a friend of his got married, and so Embiid was at the event having some fun with everybody, and the bride, which is his friend, they put him and her on the chair and lifted them up. Okay, as they say, you got to trust the process. They lifted Embiid and that chair. And Embiid is trying to hang on to her so she doesn't fall off the chair. Kind of puts a hand on the breastises. Not that he meant to, but, it's just one of those things you're doing in the moment. You're going up and down. You don't know. But I can't believe they put Embiid and her on the chair, and they were lifting them and the chair up. That's impressive, dude. Okay? That's impressive. That is awesome. Gotta love that. Joel Embiid, it looks like he looks like a fun guy. I gotta admit, he does look like a fun guy. Love it. That is good stuff there. I told you, some of you out there that are listening to the podcast today, which I appreciate you. I love you all. Sean and I really appreciate it. But I told you there'd be reasons why you'd want to watch. And we gave you LeBron highlights of the Drew League when we were talking to Ira, and then obviously talking about Joel Embiid now at a Jewish wedding, which was just fantastic. Fantastic. And they are fun weddings. I think Jewish weddings are the best. They are. I had a great wedding with the wife. We had a great wedding, a fantastic wedding, all kinds of friends and family members. But I've been to a couple of Jewish weddings, and they are fun, man. They are fun. Gotta say. Billy Shaw is in. He says, morning, brothers and sisters. Sweet Jump says she's in love now. Big O Kawhi Leonard is a fun guy. LOL. Dude Johnny says James Williams is going to be one of the best safeties since Sean Taylor. Guy's going to be a beast. Yeah, he is. He does look good. Looking forward to Kane's camp also. That should be a lot of fun. And can't wait for the season. That's what's going to be awesome. Is the season. That is what I cannot wait. Okay, let me see. What else do we have here? Also, I'm going to check I'm going to check the market just for the hell of it here, because I'm interested to see where it's still climbing. Bitcoin's up 4.5. It's at 22,300. I don't get this. ApeCoin over $6. We're at $6 now, actually. I'm impressed. I'm baffled, but impressed with the market. I've never been to a Greek one. 6193 says Greek engagement parties and weddings are a lot of fun. Never been to a Greek one. Been to a Jewish one. Haven't been to a Greek one. Oh, maybe didn't I see it in my big fat Greek wedding? Wasn't that the one? Right? I think I saw it in that one. Is it like that? Is it like the one in my big fat Greek wedding? Right? When I saw my big fat Greek wedding, I saw it in Jury Duty. Yep. I saw 2 movies that day that I normally would not have watched on my own, but I had no choice. I was sitting there. So I watched my big fat Greek wedding, and then I watched Made in Manhattan. Okay. The bright side is it is J-Lo and Made in Manhattan. So, I mean, anything J-Lo is worth just watching. You know, it's one of those Spanish novella things. You could turn off the volume and just watch. You know what I'm saying? One of those deals. But still, I would never have watched Made in Manhattan on my own, ever. I would have never watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding on my own, ever. Maybe if the wife, drags me to the couch and says, come on, watch this with me. And then, whatever, I'll watch it. But outside of that, I would not watch that. And that's where I saw it. So there you go. Big O, are you a Meet the Fockers fan? Yeah, man. Meet the Fockers is pretty good. Definitely. Who doesn't like that? Meet the Fockers is actually a pretty good one. All right, 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, that's 855-912-1056. Don't forget, our show is proudly brought to you by Blue Chew. Yeah, baby. Use that promo code Big O. I got something free for you. Free, and then you're going to have fun with free. Do you want to have fun with free? Here we go. And listen, confidence in the bedroom is very important. And sometimes you're not performing at your best. Sometimes it's out of your control. You got a lot of stress. There's a lot of things going on in life. You got a lot of problems in your mind, or maybe you're thinking about a lot of things and it doesn't let you concentrate, or just the performance isn't there. Well, Blue Chew is here for you. That's right. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. And you can take them anywhere, day and night, so you can plan ahead, or you can be ready when the opportunity arises. Yeah. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com. You get to consult with one of their licensed medical providers. And once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Now, here's the best part. It's all done online. That's right. No visit to the doctor's office, having those awkward conversations, or when you go to the pharmacy and you're in line and you got to tell, yeah, I'm here for Viagra, and people behind you are hearing all of that. You don't need any of that, folks, okay? Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, prepared and shipped directly to your door in a discreet package. And all you got to do now, listen, women love confidence, right? First impressions are very important. Maybe this is your first date or first session. You want a little Blue Chew in your corner, baby. And the women love confidence. So I got a special deal right now for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free. That's right. When you use our promo code Big OW, give her the big OW. All you got to do is pay shipping, $5. That's it. And then use our promo code Big O so you can receive your first month for free. Visit bluechew.com for more details, important safety information, and we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring our show. Check it out. Arm yourself with a little Blue Chew. All right. Give us a Blue Chew testimony. Yeah, those of you out there that have used Blue Chew, give us a testimony on the Blue Chew. I'd love to hear it. Blue Chew for Blue Steel. I like it. That's what it's all about. Can't wait for football. Tua will shine this year. No more mediocre offensive line or receivers. I'm telling you, he's good. Watch them at Alabama. You guys have a gem at QB. I'm fine with it. I've never doubted the kid. In fact, I think I'm one of the few that thinks he's been terrific the first 2 years, considering the crap that's been in front of him. So I am not the guy to be picking or slamming Tua Tagovailoa. I truly believe that he is going to be an absolute stud when it's all said and done. So I just want Mike McDaniel to give him the offense that he needs in order to succeed. All right. And by the way, if you're moving, you see the billboard around me, Essential Moving Experts. Call Sean Williams and the boys at 844-368-5750. And remember, you get $150 off if you mention my name. All right. and flat rates, no surprise charges. So make sure you call Essential Moving Experts. And they're big Dolphin fans, as you can tell. The business is in Dolphins colors. So that's actually pretty cool. EssentialMovingExperts.com. What else did I want to talk about here on the program? Marlins swept by the Phillies. We'll talk to Cameron Wolf tomorrow. That trader was rooting on his Phillies. And he went to the third game, which was yesterday on Sunday, hoping for a win and a sweep. I was hoping he was going to go down, but they won 4-0 yesterday. A damn Phillies swept the Marlins. Marlins are now 5 games under 500 at 43 and 48. They're 4-8 in their last 12 games, and they've lost 5 of 7. That's 5-2 in the last 7, just in case if you don't know how to do math. They are, or 2-5, I'm sorry, since they're losing. So they're 2-5 in their last 7 games and 4-8 in their last 12. And they got swept. It's what Craig Mish has said from the get-go here on the show. As much as I would like to see them be buyers, this team is not worth being buyers. I mean, what are they like right now in 25 innings straight of they haven't scored a run in like 25 innings or something like that. I forgot what it was at the end of the game yesterday. It's like ridiculous. It's just there isn't enough offense. And you spent your money on Avisail Garcia. Yeah, you got to go better than that, man. And I get it. You're a bad team, so bad teams have to overpay in order to get really good players to come here. But until you develop your own hitters, and, I saw Kim Eng talk about, one of the prospects, and she loves him as a hitter and all that, but I mean, we have JJ Bleday. He's still not up here hitting yet. And it's taken Jazz a couple of years to get where he's at now. So it's not going to happen overnight. Even if those guys are going to be successful, it's not going to happen overnight. So you've got to do something in order to kind of, cut this thing in half here. We got the All-Star break now. We got the game tomorrow at Dodger Stadium. Thursday, they'll start a set with the Rangers. But, I mean, what do you do? I love the Marlins. I love watching them play, but they are what they are. They just don't have enough offense. And I don't think you're going to be able to. And here's the other thing that Mish mentions that is so true. Why are you going to give away prospects now where you're going nowhere? Save your prospects. All right, show me that you have cash. And in the offseason, when there are legit free agents that you don't have to give up any picks for, go get those guys. Save it, man. Save your young guys. Unfortunately, this is not a team that you invest more in right now. Just does not make any sense. You continue to go young here, and then next year, you're on the brink. So go add real pieces in free agency and don't force yourself to trade away talent that you don't need to trade. Because if anything, if you're not going to be a franchise, see, if you're the Marlins and you cannot be the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Cubs and the Dodgers, right? That you can buy players and make mistakes and buy more players and make mistakes and all that, they can't. Once they make a mistake, it is catastrophic and it sets them back. So save your money, man. Keep drafting, keep developing. You've done a terrific job of that. Buy in the offseason. That's what you do. Or if you have to trade, then make sure you're in a position where somebody's super desperate to get rid of that person so you don't have to give up that much. But that's where the Marlins are at right now. Craig Mish is 1,000% right on that. Not worth being buyers. Stand pat. Keep going the direction you're going in. You're going in a good direction if you add money to it. If you don't add money to it, then it is what it is. Enjoy the home run derby tonight. All right, let's get ready to talk a little Miami Dolphins football with Alan Poupart and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupard. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Alan Poupard.
The man, the myth, the legend that is Alan Poupard. Although I think we're seeing a black bear in the darkness right now. You know, that's kind of.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. Your camera's not on.
But something. It is. It's
no, we're watching a black bear in a black. I want you to turn on YouTube on your phone or whatever. Just look at it. There's
no. I know. I can see it. I'm gonna go try a second approach here. Give me 2 minutes and let me try to reconnect.
This is why I don't do the podcast bullshit. People record everything and then they dress it up and clean it up behind the scenes and then show you a clean product and all that. No, dude, you want live. You want raw. You want mistakes being made, and I make tons every day. So it's awesome. That way you can make fun of me and all that. You can make fun of Alan trying to do an interview, can't even turn on his camera, has no idea, like what the way I started the show today. Didn't turn on the camera. So there you go. I was getting feedback and everything. Oh, look out. There's the Montreal face. There we go. What happened? There was darkness inside? You're like or something?
No, it was my phone. You're like, you don't know how to turn on the camera. Yeah, I do know how to turn on the camera. I'm stupid. I'm not that stupid. Come on, cut me some slack.
No, we're here to bust balls. That's what we do.
I know.
That's what we do. Do you watch the home run derby?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. And back when I really cared about baseball, it's always, if I'm a fan of a team, I would much rather my players not be involved in the home run derby. Even for the silly notion that it might affect their swing for a week or two, where they're just trying to jack everything out of the park. But no, it means the All-Star game used to be a must-watch for me growing up.
It's the only one. It's actually the only one I watch out of all the pro leagues because I can't stand the NFL Pro Bowl. The NBA All-Star Game's a joke. The NHL All-Star Game's a joke. Baseball, at least, is the only one that's kind of close to being a real game. So that one I can watch, actually. I do enjoy that one.
No, correct. The sport itself lends itself to a good All-Star game. Because you're going to go to a hockey or basketball All-Star game, you don't want to see guys play great defense. You want to see the dipsy doodle moves, but it's not realistic. And then football's a nasty contact sport, and you're crazy if you start throwing big hits. Like I'll give you an example. Like Sean Taylor was an absolutely amazing talent as an NFL player. Every time they bring up his name, they show the clip of him in the Pro Bowl laying out Brian Mormon, the punter. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you serious? Like that's a moment that we should be glorified? Come on. That annoys me to no one. And then I'll give you one thing about baseball that annoyed me though. I resented Pete Rose for many, many years toward the end of it. At the end of his career, you don't bowl over a catcher in an All-Star game. I'm sorry, that was.
Oh, it was terrible. That's disgusting. Yeah, that was not right. It's an All-Star game, bro. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Although I got to tell you, in the Pro Bowl, one year, this is a long, long time ago. What's it called? Offerdahl put Eric Dickerson on his ass at the goal line, and that was actually pretty sweet. They both met head on there, and Offerdahl won that collision, and Dickerson did not score, and that was maybe my favorite Pro Bowl moment of all time, because it was actually a real hit, and it would take Offerdahl to be the guy to lay out.
And I'm sure at some point some other guys were
old enough. You're old enough. Imagine if Offerdahl has a complete career.
Mm-hmm.
He's better than Zach Thomas.
Close.
Right?
So it's a very
Because he
valid
was
point.
the difference between him and Zach and even Badakani, he was a bigger linebacker,
Correct.
dude. He was,
Correct.
he was a force, bro. He was a force, and he was probably a detriment to himself because of the way he played, because he was so reckless, man, just like Zach, that he would sell out. But physically, he was more talented than Zach, and that's why if he would have had a complete career, it would have been a better career than Zach. And both should be in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Alfred obviously will never get in the Hall of Fame,
Correct.
but I'm saying a complete career, and Alfred All easily is in the Hall of Fame. Easily is in the Hall
And
of
he
Fame.
also didn't have the front four in front of him that Zach did.
No,
We're gonna be fair about it.
Yeah. No, Alfred All was a beast, dude. God, he's an awesome linebacker. I was talking about this because Austin Jackson's got to prove himself, and Tua's got to prove himself, and and Jalen Phillips has got to follow up 8.5 sacks and be better. And we talk about all the players and all of that, but really, the part that I find really interesting is two men in Mike McDaniel, who finally gets his shot as a head coach, and in Josh Boyer, who gets to walk away from the shadow of Flo. And we behind the scenes, we discuss, did Flo make the calls or not? Was Josh Boyer really making the calls in the second half? This, that, all this kind of stuff. And so now he gets away from that shadow. McDaniel gets away from the Shanahan shadow. And really, that's the interesting part about all of this, is that we talk about the players, but before we get to those players being able to perform at their best, it's these guys that have to perform at their best, because if they don't put those players in the positions to be successful. So the challenges for McDaniel and Josh Boyer as they shed shadows.
No question. You're looking at two guys who are in their current role. Well, Mike McDaniel is a head coach for the first time. Josh Boyer is a defensive coordinator for the first time, where he is unquestionably in charge,
right,
without the specter of Brian Flores being the one pulling the strings, to make the defense work. And there's an unknown there. And part of the big mystery of the 2022 Miami Dolphins, along, as you mentioned, which players are going to step up, who need to step up, is exactly, as you mentioned, what are we going to get? Just exactly how good as coaches are those two guys? And the truth is, we don't know. We won't know until at some point during the 2022 season, and maybe even beyond that.
Yeah, and as for McDaniel and his staff, I have been, because there's two schools of thought. Oh no, these guys, they did pretty well drafting all over the place, but they can't draft offensive linemen, which to me makes zero sense whatsoever, because there's no way you miss on all the linemen and you're hitting on all the other positions in different spots. I am of the other school of thought. From week one, I kept saying it's bad coaching that has set them up. And to me, that's the challenge now for Mike McDaniel, to prove that good coaching can assist these players and help them look better.
That's fair, but I also think, if we're going to talk about good drafting at other positions other than offensive line, unless my stat is incorrect, since 2010, the only 3 Pro Bowl players the Dolphins drafted, actually it's 4 if I count Minka, it would be Xavier Howard, Laramie Tunsil, Mike Pouncey, and Minka Fitzpatrick.
Right.
We're talking 11 years, 4 guys who made the Pro Bowl. Seems to me like not a ton. I haven't done the research to look around to compare it around the league. So it's not like they've been like kicking ass in the draft at every spot.
By the way, some of those guys are more attributed to the guy that's in charge right now. Correct? Except for Pouncey, right?
Again, it depends on who was the one who was actually pulling the trigger in 2016 when they got Tunsil.
Okay, but I'm looking at Javon Holland. He's headed for Pro Bowl direction, and he picked Minka too. So you know what I'm saying. So my point is, forget about 10, 5, 10, 15 years ago. the guy now that's in charge for the last 3 drafts, the guys, because it's not just Chris, Marvin Allen and Reggie are also helping. That triumvirate has done a pretty damn good job overall with what they're picking lately. And so to me, it just doesn't make any sense that all the linemen are terrible, yet you're hitting on defensive backs and D linemen and wide receiver and whatever, and you're making good trades. You're overall, it seems like Chris makes overall pretty good decisions. I have a hard time understanding that. That's all. To me, I have a hard time that in your last 3 years, I'm looking at your body of work. I can't believe all of those linemen are bad. In fact, all of them weren't, because Hunt was actually all right.
Correct.
Even with bad coaching, he was all right. You know what I mean? So I expect 2 or 3 of these guys to become successful players. How successful? Good, really good, great. I don't know. Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame. I have no idea. But I think they'll be good players to really good players overall when it's all said and done.
No, I agree, and we've had this discussion before. I'm with you that to say that every offensive lineman they had completely sucked, except Robert Hunt was okay. I don't think that's fair, and I would expect. I think Liam Eichenberg is going to become a solid NFL offensive lineman. Austin Jackson, to me, can go either way. I do have hope because I do see the athleticism that would make him a good fit for this new offense that Mike McDaniel is bringing. Robert Hunt's a good player. Teron Armstead's going to be the anchor of that line. Connor Williams, I have reason to hope, but he's not coming off necessarily a great year.
Well, man, let me tell you, if they make him a center, great eye on their part. Great eye on their part too, because it's way more important to fill the center spot than the guard spot. You can hide the guard. You know, if you have a good line and you have a bad guard and a good line, you can kind of hide them. You got a bad center. Oh, dude, that is just catastrophic. It's catastrophic.
No, I agree with you. I think, yeah, if you were to like peg the importance of each position in the offensive line, I'd probably put center probably at 3 behind the 2 tackles. That's fair. Yeah. And going back to the overall drafting, to me, we still need that 2022 class to really take a step up because you had 3 first-round picks, and right now, jury's still out.
Well, the first, see that's. Why do you only mention the first? Because there's some other picks that were pretty good in that draft. And so once you hit on Tua, really the draft becomes a hell of a draft because you hit on the back end of those picks too.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair because he's your quarterback. So if Tua becomes a stud, I'll agree with you.
And you got Raekwon, and you got Brandon Jones, and
correct.
Did you get the kicker there also? Or was that the year before?
Jason Sanders, that was 2018, actually.
That was the year before. 2 years before.
No, it was 2 years before. Okay, yeah. But correct. But if Tua becomes elite, even if Austin Jackson and Noah don't pan out, it will become a good draft. If you hit
a hell of a draft. No, once you get your franchise quarterback, it becomes a hell of a draft.
You can't call it. You're picking number 5. To me, you can't call it a hell of a draft, even if Tua becomes a stud. If you went for 3 on your first round picks, and your quarterback was at number 5, your quarterback at number 5 should be a stud.
But you hit on the other picks, so you're fine. You know what I mean? And by the way, the following year, you hit on all 3 first rounders. So if you hit on 4 of your 6 first rounders, my God, when did the Dolphins ever do that? When
they had 2 first rounders last year, not 3.
2. But you hit on both. So if you hit on 3 of your 5, then that's when did the Dolphins ever do that? Hit 3 of their first 5 first round picks. They never do that. Hell, they would never even hit on their first round picks more often than not. Right? So
I'd have to go back and look. But again, yeah, if you make it 3 out of 5 is a lot better. I'm no math major, but 3 out of 5 is a lot better than 1 out of 3.
No, that's beastly. That's beastly in the first round.
3 out of 5?
Beastly. Yes. Most people will not do that.
That's good.
We never did that. This team never did that. If Tua hits and you hit on 3 of 5, you don't even need Jackson and Noah to hit. But if you hit on 3 of 5, the Dolphins before that, they never hit on those picks, man. They never hit on those picks. Hell, like Jimmy Johnson didn't hit on those picks. He hit on after.
He did. Correct.
Except for Madison, right? Because Madison technically, didn't he trade a first rounder to draft him in the second round?
That was Patrick.
Oh, Patrick. Right. So he technically hit on that first rounder because really it was
time, yeah.
just as he drafted Pat in the second, he paid a first rounder for him. So he hit on him. You know what I mean? So
he paid a first round pick 2 years ahead. So
yeah.
It was a 2000 first round pick for a 98 second round pick, and they got Patrick that way.
Yeah. So technically he's a first rounder. But normally, whether it was Wani or whoever, we just never really didn't matter, bro. Cameron, whatever. We were terrible with our first round picks. If you really think about it, we've been really bad.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So if
there
these guys
was a really bad stretch.
Yeah. So if they start hitting on their first round pick, and the year before, who was it? Christian?
2019,
right?
Yeah.
Was Christian? Was it only one first rounder? So
Correct.
if you hit on that guy too, which you did hit on him, by the way, because he's gotten better every single year. I'm just saying, bro. We have to start pumping our brakes a little bit because we kind of forget where this team came from and what a disaster it was before with personnel. And now it just seems like the personnel side is a lot better. They just got to figure out the coaching. That was their mistake. And they're lucky that they survived that mistake. They cannot make it again.
Yeah, but I know we're gonna go back to the same discussion. To me, again, the last 2 years overall, not specific to any position. Overall, they did a very good job coaching because they squeezed out every ounce of juice of their roster to get to 10-6 in 2020 and to get to 9-8 in 2021. So while the coaching was not,
you were satisfied with the coaching of 1-7 last year.
Dude, I mean,
that's not good coaching. Just because you padded the schedule up on the second half against the shitty teams, I disagree with you on that one. I think coaching is what hurt you and didn't get you in the playoffs last year, and that's why he got fired. He got fired because of that 1-7. Like, oh, you're Mr. Know-It-All. You want this, you want that. Well, we did everything you want, and you went 1-7. You just pissed away our chance at the playoffs, and I think that's why they shit-canned his ass. Because after him pushing everybody around in that building and getting what he wants every time, he didn't put him in a playoff position. And the personnel department probably felt personnel-wise we should be in the playoffs, and we're not. You're out of here. And so I think that's really the thinking behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, everybody thinks, yeah, he maxed it out, and maybe the front office is going, no, he didn't do enough. He should have done more. I think that's what it is.
It was a combination of factors. You get the personality, the bad start, the not making the playoffs, even though they didn't rebound very well. If I look at you look at that roster objectively last year, really better than any of the 6 teams who made the playoffs in the AFC. I'm not convinced.
No, probably not. Probably not, because that offense it's just so poorly managed that it was just so hard. I don't think that offense is nearly as bad if you had better coaching, but the way it was constructed, yeah, you're right. It was terrible. It's terrible. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. All right, what are you working on alldolphins.com?
Well, it's going to ramp up. Finally, we're about to get some action here. Rookies report tomorrow. There'll be much news coming out of that, but I'm going to do a deep dive into the rookie class and expectations for 2022. Spoiler alert: I don't think there's any reason to expect a ton of contributions from, and I'm not sure the Dolphins need that.
Tyndall Ezukama.
Yeah.
Although I'm really intrigued with Ezukama to see how they're going to use him, because I was talking about this. I don't know if it was with you last week, that I don't think he is going to be used in, big packages. So it's going to be easy to get him prepared because they're going to only have him used in certain things. It's like, kid, all you got to learn is these plays here, and here's how we're going to use you. So I'm intrigued how they're going to induce that size into that offense.
Okay. I'm not convinced. To me, again, there's a clear pecking order at wide receiver, and he's easily at least
He's the
number
last
4.
guy. He's the last guy. Yeah.
And then you factor in Gesicki, who's a pseudo wide receiver. So I'm
Right.
not sure exactly how many snaps, barring injuries, that Izukama winds up getting. And then
it's not a lot. It's like specific plays, end arounds,
correct.
a fade or something. That's why I'm saying that he's not the kid that's going to have to learn the whole playbook. He's only going to have to learn specific packages. So I think you can get him easily prepared than other guys. Like Waddle and Tyreek have got to know a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Where I think Azukama, you can kind of limit him and you can get him on the field. But I tell you, it's an intriguing body because you think about the stuff he did with Debo in San Francisco. I think on the running side, those end arounds and things like that, I think you'll see Azukama as one of those guys doing that. But we'll see.
We will see. We'll find out. So to finish answering your question, we're also continuing our training camp preview position by position and our look at the regular season opponent breakdown.
What are we, 52 now?
And then the countdown today was 52, correct.
52.
There's three linebackers who made up 1, 2, 3.
No quarterbacks at 52?
No running backs either. And no offense to anybody, no complete studs.
At 52. Wow, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Well, you usually are. You see the list every time. Yeah, wow, that's right. Yeah. When as you're doing these lists, you would think with this team being around over 50 years that in every number there's like 3, 4, 5 deep. And dude, sometimes you're 1 deep, bro. You know what I mean? And you're lucky if you're 2 deep in your lists. Like the third guy is a fringe player, a guy that's like, whatever, It's like you had Beavers on there. You know what I mean? I think he was the third guy, the linebacker. Huh? Right?
Yeah. No, Beavers was on. Beavers was not on my list. Come on, dude.
Not Beavers. Oh God, a really nice linebacker. He's a really good dude, bro. Derek Rogers. You had him on that list.
Okay.
And he was, he was all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, serviceable.
He looked like he was going to be an all-pro because his body, the athleticism. I remember that one catch he made, that interception he made in the air. Remember that he was kind of diving close to the floor and he caught it with his hands. It wasn't like a cradle catch. It was one of those. It was an impressive play by Derek Rogers. Might have been his most impressive athletic play that you saw. You're like, holy crap, but he never really turned out to be that force that we thought he was going to be. What he looked like. One of the better looking athletes I've ever seen.
He's one of those guys where you saw him as a rookie and you're like, oh yeah, this guy could become something, and it never moved up.
Yeah. It never really moved up. And great dude, by the way. One of the best people you will cover. Derek Rogers is a super class act, man. Really, really nice guy. That's the other thing you could tell dealing with Rogers. You knew that he was a man's man. You know what I mean? He was just one of those dudes that, a pro all the time, man. Good dude. Good dude. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Poopart NFL and catch him doing his thing here twice a week. As always, Alan, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
You got it. We'll talk later in the week.
You got it. There you go. Alan Poupart and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
This has been the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupart, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and never miss a report. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Visit Sports Grill in our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza.
Appreciate it. As always, don't forget, Hialeah Park will be there on Thursday, broadcasting live in the second floor poker room. So come on out and join us out at Hialeah Park. We appreciate it immensely if you can join us out there at Hialeah Park. By the way, Armando Swaim, Thank you, sir. Giving us a little love there on Venmo. Appreciate you sending us there. Cash Big O Show is our address on Cash App or Venmo. Thank you, Armando. Appreciate you as always. Let's see. Okay. What else do we have going on here in the world of... This is amazing. It is amazing. The run on crypto right now. Polygon is up 25%. It's up to 97 cents. This thing was at 75 cents on Sunday. And those of us on last Tuesday loaded up at 54 cents. It's at 97 now. Polygon is flying, dude. Ethereum is up 10%. It's up 15. It's up to 1,500 now. Ethereum. Bitcoin is soaring to 22,500 now. This is, I did not see this coming. And I don't know how this happened. I got to be honest. I have no idea. I mean, I was expecting Bitcoin to run at one point or another because too many people are buying and holding Bitcoin. It's not being sold. And you think about what's happened in the last 6 months. Canada shut down banks for a short time. Russia shut down banks from their citizens. Ukraine shut down their banks from their citizens. Sri Lanka, just now, their entire economy collapsed. Their money's gone. El Salvador, their money's gone. They went to Bitcoin. You start to look around the world and, at one point or another, it's going to be... The change is going to happen and people are going to figure out they've got to go to Bitcoin to kind of keep their money alive. So I'm just saying. I think I've been saying it for a while. And by the way, as I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday that called me, get your money off the exchanges, get yourself a cold wallet, study up whether you want to get a Trezor or a Ledger or whatever you want to get. And doesn't matter what exchange, I have stuff on different exchanges and I got them all off of it. And I'm getting some still off of Crow, and they're not having any issues, and neither is OK Coin, and they're going strong. But I still don't want to. I still would rather keep my money in a cold wallet. So make sure you're doing that. Make sure you got your 12 words and you never lose them. All right, never lose them. Big O tripping. Rookies ain't getting no playing time this year besides special teams. I disagree with that. I can see Azukama being used as a runner and because that's why they got rid of Devontae Parker. So they're going to need somebody like that. And I think Azukama fits that role. So I think he's going to get some playing time. So rookies do get playing time. Who tells you rookies don't get playing time? This is not Pat Riley or something, dude. This rookies get playing time all the time in the NFL. I think last year we had 3 rookies play and star, right? They were all rookies. So, yeah, they play. All the markets are up the past few days. Yeah. I don't get it. Doesn't make any sense. Although, Brett, not true. I believe on Thursday, crypto was up and the markets were down. They were still in the red on Thursday. I think Friday is when they ended on a positive, and so was crypto already at that point. Crypto has been on a little rise the last couple of days, but the last 2 days, yesterday and today, oh my God, it is soaring, which never expected it to go where it's at. By the way, we will be at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines next Friday. Not this Friday. This Friday we'll be at KSDT. CPAs. They're in Dayland. We'll be there. But next Friday, we'll be at Craig's Inn's, Acura Pembroke Pines. They are celebrating their 14th anniversary, folks. So get on out there. 12 years in a row now, they've been the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. And right now, you can get the 2023 Integra $369 a month, the lease feature there. They've got all kinds of great lease features and financing on certified pre-owned vehicles as low as 0.99% financing. So take advantage at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig's Inn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. What else do we have? Congratulations to Inter Miami. Won a hell of a win on Saturday, down 2-0. Robert Taylor with a beautiful goal in the 59th minute. Higuain had one called back, but then he scored in the 72nd minute, which the way they've been setting up Higuain in the last couple games has been perfect. He doesn't have to do a lot of dribbling. He doesn't have to go through a lot of traffic. He doesn't have the athleticism or the speed to be able to do that in this league. He has to be able to get it and one-touch it as soon as possible, and that's exactly why he was able to score in the 72nd minute. And then Emerson Rodriguez, the young and up-and-coming stud, in the 90th, like the 93rd minute or something like that. He ends up getting the third goal. They win. Now they're 2 points off the 7th spot in the playoffs. 2 points. They've got 25. 27 is right now in the 7th spot. That's Cincinnati. And Charlotte, the team they just beat, is 1 point ahead of them still for the 7th spot. They've got the 8th spot, and right now Miami's at number 9. And remember, Pozuelo is now on the team. He got a shot early on in the game. This is cool. This is cool. You know, the Marlins are going in one direction, and Inter Miami is now going in the other direction and headed towards a positive direction. And these young guys are playing better. I got to give Phil Neville a lot of credit. I think he's done an excellent job. I think all 3 guys that scored were all 3 subs. So he made the right calls on all of those. There's 11 games left, if I'm correct. So there's plenty. There is a ton of time left to get into the playoffs. Hell, even climb. Now, they've got the goalie. They've got hopefully now enough offense, not great offense, but at least enough to be competitive with Pozuelo in there. And once he gets going, I think that will help out everybody else because he's going to command so much attention all the time, being the best player on the team. So great time right now to be an Inter Miami fan. They're winning. They're right there outside of the playoffs. They can finally earn a playoff spot, not that play-in bullshit that they were in a couple of years ago. That's crap. They've got Barcelona on Tuesday as a friendly. I'm sure a lot of the bench guys are going to play against Barcelona. They're not going to play their heavy guys a ton of minutes on Tuesday. You don't do that. Saturday, you get ready for New York City. All right, 7 o'clock. I think it's on the road. I think they're in New York City. So you take care of business against New York City. But the Barcelona thing will be a fun thing for everybody out there. But congratulations to Inter Miami. I have zero doubts that Jorge Mas would win. I am telling you guys this. He's not going to win the title this year. They don't have the kind of team to win the title, but they'll get into the playoffs now. You saw the move they just made for Pozuelo. George will spend money. They're going to spend money. And they're going to overcome all this crap that happened to them early on. They made a bunch of terrible decisions. Now they're making the good decisions behind Chris Henderson. Now they've got the right football guy in place. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. By now, they should be one hell of a team and challenging for an MLS title at this point. But unfortunately, here's where the rebuild is really starting. So in another year or two, this team's going to be scary. Scary. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're a soccer fan, get ready, man. The Inter Miami ride is going to be awesome. Awesome. Let's see. I have my money on Voyager. My fear is that I lost all my money. Yeah, you probably lost all your money. Why didn't you take out the stuff on Voyager? I was talking about getting your stuff out on Voyager like a month ago. I told you guys, get your stuff out of Voyager, get your stuff out of all the, why'd you keep it in there? I had a little on Voyager that I lost because I expect to lose it all. It's not a ton, but I had some Algorand that, was it Algorand? Or Polka Dot that I couldn't get out of there. And so I'm kind of rebuying that Polka Dot, even at cheaper prices here lately on Crow, and moving it over to my Trezor wallet is what I've been doing. But yeah, you should have all, you should not keep your coins on any exchanges. All right, get a Trezor wallet and move it to your Trezor wallet. As you buy it, move it. You know, that's what you do. But I'm sorry to hear that, man, because the Voyager thing burned a lot of people, just like Celsius and Luna. It burned a lot of people. And this is kind of part of this whole thing as it grows, and because certain things aren't regulated, and that's why people fear regulation, but you shouldn't fear regulation. By the way, the SEC chair was incredibly positive about crypto and how he wanted to work with crypto in developing the laws and all of that. With all the FUD that was out there that people talked about, how people were in fear of crypto being, excommunicadoed and all that in this country. Not even going to happen. Toothpaste is out, man. Can't put it back in the tube. And it's where we're going. I don't know. Let me give you a little fun fact, because again, there's always so much FUD out there, so much crap that people don't pay attention and don't really understand what really is going on. Here, let me show you something. A second here. Here we go. Oh, wait, my bad. Here we go. Check this out. So for those of you out there that may, because you always get the people that don't know anything about crypto, and then they complain about it or take shots or whatever. The Crypto Trends in Business and Beyond report reports several aspects of the internet value ripple divides. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Here we go. Wait a minute. Here we go. Is this the one? Here we go. 3/4 of financial institutions expect to use crypto more in the next 3 years. I'm not going to bore you in talking about the whole article, but I wanted you to read the lead on it. 3/4 of financial institutions expect to use crypto more in the next 3 years. Mass adoption is coming. Whether you like it or not, it's coming. Whether you believe it or not, just like the internet. People laughed at the internet. Now you can't live without the internet. You got to pay your bills. You could go buy your movie tickets, your concert tickets, whatever it is. Send a message, send an email, you name it. Without the internet, toast. Check your scores. Go, you're cooking. Go find the recipe for this. We'd be dead in the water without the internet. You're going to go back to dictionaries. You're going to go back to buying the encyclopedia and then updating it every 5 or 10 years. Remember that? Remember you'd buy the new editions and the extra stuff and all that back in the day. Is that what you're going to do? Because that's not going to help you in certain areas. So we couldn't be without the internet. And people thought the internet was a joke, right? Well, this is the internet. This is the upgraded internet. And you're not going to be able to live without it, whether you like it or not. Kenneth Cleveland, that is, Says Big O, Kenneth Cleveland is live from the Boom Boom Room. It's time to add some new talent to the Boom Boom Room. Big O, who do you suggest? Well, now that you brought that up, since I myself are a facilitator of fun, I don't know if you guys saw this story, but Paige Spiranac was in the Maxim Hot 100, and I know, Kenneth, you're about to say, well, Paige is already there in the Boom Boom Room. But I would be irresponsible if I did not share Paige Spiranac's shot at Maxim 100's Hot 100 this weekend. So Paige is on the cover, as you can see, and she was at the Maxim party, and she went appropriately dressed, right? I mean, look at that woman. Okay? So speaking of the Boom Boom Room, Kenneth, and thank you for the love on the super chat there. I just wanted to, show one of our lovely ladies that is in the Boom Boom Room at the moment in Paige Spiranac, and congratulations to her being number one in Maxim's Hot 100. There you go. What can I tell you? Like I told you, I am a facilitator of fun. Dougie Fresh says, Blue Chew testimony. I was delivering the last pizza of my shift. A lady wearing only a towel was crying at the door as a meteor fell on her purse and it was trapped. One Blue Chew and one moved that meter. Lordy. Brett says, are those three-quarter institutions in the USA? Brett, those three-quarters institutions are in the world. Because if it's only three-quarters in the USA, it's three-quarters of the world too. So three-quarters of the world, everyone, Brett, you will be using crypto. All of you will be using crypto at one point or another. You don't realize it. You may not believe it. You may not want to understand it, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen with all of you. You eventually use checks. You eventually use credit cards. You eventually will use crypto. It's just, it's all part of the evolution. That's it. So enjoy. Holy headlights, Batman. She makes me want to jump like Embiid. Miles Deep says, morning, Big O. Just tuning in from Vegas. Had a late work night. My bad. LOL. So, did you see any gems at the Summer League? Well, we talked about it throughout the week. And by the way, the Jamal Cain kid, I liked him on Wednesday night when he came in. He looked pretty good. Too Extreme says, she's I. So she's only I to you? Come on, man. Lord, I couldn't imagine the maintenance on that model. Don't you want to try? Go tell Argentina that for one who don't like reading headlines. The doc is in, says Big O. Saw Chargers-Raiders game on NFL Network last week. You're right. Herbert is overrated on a good team. If Tua was on that team, they would be elite. Well, they would have been in the playoffs last year. And let me tell you something. Everybody talks about Tua and having no excuses. What's the excuse for Herbert if he doesn't make the playoffs? I'm just wondering because he had I can understand the Dolphins not making the playoffs and Tua because that team was piss poor on offense and no coaching. I can't explain why the Los Angeles Chargers didn't make the playoffs. They should have made the playoffs. And now this year, you better make the playoffs. Have you seen that team now, the way they're constructed? That Chargers team is loaded. What they did this offseason was monstrous. if they're not a playoff team, it's they either a major disappointment by the coaching staff and the players, or there were a bunch of injuries. Last year had nothing to do with injuries. Last year, you just weren't good enough and you should have gotten in there. You had enough players. So you got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, right? At wide receiver. You've got at tight end. You brought in the kid from Seattle who's not bad, Gerald Everett, and Donald Parham, the big ass kid that they got from the is it XFL, I believe, or USFL. Then on offensive line, Rashawn Slater. They got Corey Lindsey at center. They drafted Zion Johnson. So they've improved their offensive line drastically. They've got running backs in Eckler. They added Isaiah Spiller to the team. They've got Joshua Kelly, who's not a bad backup. Defensively, all right, they added Khalil Mack on that team to that defense to go along with Joey Bosa. They've got Asante Samuel Jr. on that team. Derwin James Jr. on that team. J.C. Jackson as one of their corners. I mean, they're loaded. They're loaded on defense. They're loaded on offense. So what's going to be the excuse there? But I know everybody's in, or not everybody, but a lot of you that are in love with Justin Herbert. You know, you fail to make any explanation why they aren't in the playoffs last year. Okay, so what's going to be the excuse if they don't make it this year? Because they're loaded. Absolutely freaking loaded. If they don't make it, well, will he get the same kind of criticism that Tua gets? Probably not. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have? The Chargers coach will be why they don't succeed. Chargers coach had nothing to do with the Texans lost. I get what you're saying, that he's made a couple of those questionable fourth down calls. Can we add Teresa Ruiz from Narcos to the Boom Boom Room? You know, I don't watch Narcos enough. Teresa Ruiz. Let me see. Teresa Ruiz. Teresa Ruiz. Yeah, she's a hottie. Okay. I don't watch Narcos, but I get it now. Okay. All right. Yeah, she's a hottie. It's not bad. That would go with a little boom boom room action. There you go. I like it. But it is interesting how they don't mention pressure on that side and expectations when they've done a ton to improve that team. They were good enough last year, and they didn't make it. Hey, let's take a quick break. My bad. Hour number 3 is next. Oh. Let's see. Hour number 3 is next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill.
All right. Thought it was going to be a little longer than that, the break, but all right. We're back. By the way, don't forget, Edge Energy Drink is a proud sponsor of our program. Go to myedgedrink.com and get 10% off your order right there. Use our code Big O, and you will get 10% off the finest energy drink in the planet. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. It is Edge Energy Drink, myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. All right. What else do we have here? Big O, I think we're going to be very happy with Tyndall. Just be patient. Dude will be a stud in a couple years. Well, I like Tyndall. I'm not worried about the Tyndall situation overall. By the way, I got to give a young man, I got to say, it's hard to say that you admire some college football players because they're young and, you know, we're all young. We make mistakes and we're still growing. But young people can set certain examples at times that will then wow you. And you say, that I admire about this young person. And Anthony Richardson is the quarterback for the Florida Gators. And Richardson, his nickname is AR-15. And so he had all kinds of shirts and all kinds of imaging and stuff that he would use to promote, you know, his brand, AR-15. Now, as you all know, what is also an AR-15? A gun. And this young man decided that it wasn't a good idea for him to be associated with the gun because of everything that's gone on. And so now he says, after discussion with my family and much thought, I have decided to no longer use the nickname AR-15 and the current apparel line logo, which features a scope as part of my branding. While a nickname is only a nickname, and AR-15 was simply a representation of my initials combined with my jersey number, it is important to me that my name and brand are no longer associated with the assault rifles that have been used in the mass shootings, which I do not condone in any way or form. My representatives and I are currently working on rebranding, which includes the creation of a new logo and transition to simply using AR and my name, Anthony Richardson. And I got to tell you something. I admire the hell out of this. I really do. I admire this in a big time way because this is a kid showing incredible awareness of things that are going on. And there's plenty of times that some kids or men, they want to have an edge to what they bring. You know, we just talked about Edge Energy Drink, right? And life is all about an edge. Whether you're going to do a radio show, whether you're going to be an athlete, whether you're going to be a lawyer, whether you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a doctor, you got to have some kind of an edge. If you're a teacher, man, you better have an edge if you're going to deal with 200 kids every day, right? So there's an edge that comes with athletes, with people that are marketing themselves and all of that. And for this young man to say, hey, I've got to change my message because it coincides and ends up contradicting something that's going on right now in our society that is disgusting, and we're not doing enough about it, is obviously AR-15s and automatic rifles and all of that, and all the mass shootings that we have going on. And the fact that either one, he has the awareness that he doesn't want to be associated with that. Two, he's also smart enough to know that, it's bad PR too, to have that kind of name on there. Even though he's right, it's only a nickname, some people will take it to another extreme. So he's smart on that side too, because it's going to hurt him on the marketing side at times. And these are things that, the world has changed. And the things that used to happen when I was young cannot happen in today's world. That's just the way it is. You no longer can. Let's see. Let's think about some of the things back in the old days that you could do and you can't do now, right? And try to think of some of those basic things that, Archie Bunker, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, some of these cats would, Don Rickles would die nowadays before he could get away with his comedy. And there are things you can do back in the day that you can do now. We have this whole thing with gun control now. When I was a kid, very few kids ever touched their dad's guns because there was this respect. That respect is gone. Very few kids now have respect for their parents. Very few kids have respect for any gun. We didn't even need to lock our guns back in the day. My dad's guns were never locked, ever. He didn't need to lock them. My mom wasn't going to play with them, and I wasn't even going to look at them, much less try to touch one. Forget grabbing it, just touching it. Not even doing that. We're different nowadays. The same freedoms that we used to have, we all used to be able to hang out in Key Biscayne, hang out at night, relax. Cops used to come by. Hey, kids, you guys got to leave. Now what do? They fenced it all out. Why? Because they can't trust you kids anymore. Because we just used to hang out, have a couple of drinks, and leave. The kids nowadays, now they're starting fights. Now they're bringing guns. Now they're doing all kinds of illegal shit. And now they're creating problems. It's pretty simple. What you used to get away with, you can't get away with anymore. It's a different world. People cannot be trusted the way they used to be able to be trusted. And I give Mr. Richardson a lot of credit because he has an awareness of how he can affect people. He's a Florida Gators starting quarterback. Okay? I don't care how good you think he is or how bad he is, but he's a star, and he's a guy that a lot of people are going to look to. AR-15 is not the example you want to set. Because in today's world, we also take nicknames and then we literally go out and do things. Nowadays, you see it all over the place. There's a lack of common sense. And, I hate to be the old man on the lawn, but there was a hell of a lot more common sense back in the day. And so you've lost certain rights and certain things. And that's why we have the limitations we have. That's why we have to, by the way, just not to get political, but this is why we have to have gun rights. This is why there's no such thing as the right to bear arms. No, it's a privilege to bear arms. That's what it should be. We have too many idiots that don't deserve the right to bear arms. So you need to earn it. I give Anthony Richardson a ton of credit. He understands the impact of his name. He understands what's going on in our society. and he wants to make sure that he does not get associated with it in any way, shape, and form. Kudos to Anthony Richardson, man. That's a kid that I know he's a Gator. I'm not rooting for him against the Canes or anything like that, but I will be rooting for him as a human being because it looks like he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders overall to do that. So there you go. I just farted, checked in on the show. It's not common anymore. It's just sense now, Big O. You are correct. Definitely not common. Let's see. I live in LA. There are for sure not talking about its last year. If you do, I don't know about that. You're talking about Herbert. Let me lay. They're for sure not talking about it's his last year. If they don't make the playoffs, I guess they see something in Herbert. Well, Herbert has a hell of an arm and he's super talented. Physically, he is a god. There's no doubt about that. He is the perfect quarterback if you had to create a quarterback there. But this is the part that I need to know. You know? What do we have there? The Kia Forum. So the LA Forum is now the Kia Forum? Okay. Did not know that. They changed it. I did not know it was called the old Great Western Forum is now called the Kia Forum. I had no idea. No idea that was the case. We are awaiting Marcel Louis Jacques. Send him a little heads up there if you can, Sean, please. Oh, the original Bad News Bears could never be made today. Tanner alone would make the most grown millennials cry today. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yes. Yes. Let's see. We will see. Okay, you guys are having another conversation there that is not anything that we're going to get into. By the way, for you golfers out there, is Cameron Smith the next guy now? Since he won the British Open, is he the next star now? Talk about a sport dying for actual stars. A sport that has no stars whatsoever. There are no superstars at all in golf. And you know how it is with golf. It's a terrific game to play. I like watching it live. Not a big fan of it on television, I'll be honest. But I always love golfers. I haven't heard the talk of Cameron Smith that way yet. But I always laugh when some guy wins some kind of a major. They're always like, "Oh no, this guy's the next Tiger." It's delicious. It's smooth. It's got zero aftertaste. It's only got 75 calories. It is Edge Energy Drink. You can get 10% off your order. Go to myedgedrink.com and check out the finest energy drink on the planet. Speaking of Edge Energy Drink, Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report with Marcel Louis Jacques is next.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's the ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis Jacques.
All right. How you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing excellent, man. Doing well. I cannot believe.
Did you know Cameron Smith is the next Tiger Woods now that he won the British Open?
So he's let me see if I can pull out a calculator real quick.
He's number 47.
45th next Tiger Woods that we've come up with since Tiger first fell off. That's there's never gonna be another Tiger. It's
Bullshit.
It's okay.
He was awesome on his way out this past weekend. That's the only reason they watched.
Yeah, there's never going to be. I just had this conversation actually on ESPN Radio with Myron Metcalf the other night where, look, man, golf has never been as captivating. And stay with me, audience. Has never been as captivating as it was when Tiger was dominant. It might be more competitive. It might be more popular now, but it was never as interesting.
No, you're wrong. It's never, not even close to being more popular. Hell no, dude.
I think with the younger audience, I think it's a little more widespread now because of the amount of competition, because of the depth on the field, because of the relatability of the people on there. I could make the argument that, yeah, sure, it might be. It might be more popular now from a number standpoint, but it was never as interesting. No, and it should. Like, the game should grow. It's been 20 years.
It's interesting. It's not as big. It's not as popular. They don't have the same ratings anymore that they do with Tiger. Or on a Sunday, if it's Tiger and Phil, holy crap. Then it became like it was monster numbers. They're not even coming.
I'm saying, like, I mean, 90 MFC here. I don't have glasses on. I'm sorry. 90 MFC down here is saying, you know, there's a large surge after the pandemic. I think that might be what we're seeing here. It's just like a perfect combination of it was the only thing to really do outside.
Right.
And then so some people have, you know, that itself has spurned a fan base to check out. Oh, hey, golf is on Sunday. Let me go see what these guys are doing when you're at home watching TV on the weekends. But no, it's a more competitive field. It's a deeper field.
Of course, there are no stars.
And I think that sports are just naturally more popular now than they were 20 years ago because of social media and because you get more access to the people that you're seeing on TV and you see them in more places. But like I said, it was never as captivating as it was when Tiger was on his run. You're showing up because
no stars. There are no stars.
It was so interesting that we're still showing up in 2022. We're still watching tournaments that we know this man can't finish. Respectfully, we know he can't finish because we want to see a flash of brilliance. The Masters a couple months ago, I think his approach shot on 2 or 3 when he dropped it like 6 feet from the pin.
Yep.
So that's why. That is why 2 million people showed up.
And for him to win that green jacket 2 years ago was crazy. And when he won the U.S. Open on one knee right before he had to have surgery and all that, the shit he does, nobody's ever done and nobody ever will do. And that's a sport that is so desperate for one superstar. It has none. Okay, there is no Arnold Palmer, there's no Golden Bear, there's no Tiger, there's nobody there's no Gary Player, there is nobody, bro. It's just a whole bunch of names that rotate over and over and over again, and it's a new flavor of the week. You started off the interview with it. Like, is this number 40 something or whatever? Because it's the same shit over and over. And it started with David Duval while Tiger was still in his heyday, and Duval started, comes up. Oh, he's going to be the guy to challenge Tiger. And, they tried to come up with somebody new. And then as he was already dying out, then they're trying to find the next one. Oh,
I mean, in my lifetime, it's been Rory, it's been Spieth, it's been Morikawa, it's been DeChambeau, it's been Koepka, it's been Thomas, it's been like all these.
None of them.
It's been Dustin Johnson, who might be the closest thing to it.
You gotta admit, a guy with a cocaine problem named Dustin. That's freaking awesome. I mean, you can't set this up any better than that.
Ish.
What?
I hope he gets over his. I was not aware of it because I don't follow golf as closely as I once did when Tiger was Tiger. But
you didn't know he had a little problem with the powder?
I did not.
Dustin was Dustin.
Isn't he the only extracurricular thing I know about Dustin Johnson? He's the one who married Paulina Gretzky, right? Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's all I really know about him. So
Skinny little thing.
Doing well.
She's cute, skinny little thing, but she's cute. Us Hispanics, we need some. I don't want to stereotype, but usually the brothers are along with the Hispanics. We need some meat on our bones. I'm just saying. Just to stereotype a little.
Oh, my girl is watching this, man. She's watching this at home.
My wife is watching. Let's say, get some pants, bro. Put some pants on. What's wrong with you? It's just talk. That's all it is. She can relax. It's just talk. We're just having some fun here. We got lots of men's watching and listening. So
she's perfect. She is my perfect woman. So
right. No, you're lucky. You're lucky.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what his brother's looking for.
You're lucky you weren't on with us for the Paige Spiranac segment. Then you really would have gotten in trouble.
I don't even know who that is.
Well, speaking of golf, she's she's a woman's golfer. I don't know where she ranks, but she's number one in the beautiful department. You don't know who Paige Spiranac is?
I don't follow golf like that, man. I really don't.
Really?
Hey, look, I get paid to follow Miami Dolphins in the NFL. That is priority number one. Everything else is kind of, cherry on top, whatever I feel like, whatever I got the energy for. But
I'm sorry. Did you say cherry? Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let us put some boom in it. Here is Paige Spiranac for you, my man. Number one in Maxim 100. Get that Edge energy drink can out of there. What is wrong with you, Sean?
Sean, my man, thank you.
That is
for introducing decency back into radio.
How do you not know who Paige Spiranac is? Period.
Look, man, I know what I want. I know what I like.
No, it's fine that you can want and like whatever. I'm just saying. Paige Spiranac is one of those that, it's she's an all-American girl. She teaches you how to eat hot dogs. I don't know if you did you see that one with her teaching you how to eat? Yeah, July 4th. She taught everybody how to eat hot dogs, and I'm trying to find the video now, but I guess I passed it already, unfortunately. So yes, I'm trying to show you the video, but what can I tell you? Let me see. What do we have here? Oh, milkshake time. You know that her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Not all.
Well, it might bring some.
And I thought, let's make it together. So let's make the famous milkshake. First off,
that's how you're supposed to dress when you make a milkshake. Okay?
Next up, we have some peanut butter.
So there you go. You got to admit this is a strong segment this week.
All right, I guess I know who Paige is now.
You better.
I forgot her last name already.
Spiranac. Okay, Paige Spiranac. All right, make sure you keep that in there. Keep it locked because that's when you want to keep locked. All right, so we talk about Tua having to prove himself and Austin Jackson and can Jalen Phillips improve on 8.5 sacks? And, everybody talks about the players. But I think the interesting storylines is watching Mike McDaniel try to prove himself coming out of the shadows of Shanahan and Josh Boyer, who has to kind of come out of the shadows of Flo because we've had all those discussions. Was he making calls? Was he not making calls? Was it Flo? Was he overlooking? All this kind of stuff, right? Is he ready? Can he really do it? All this. And, I think those are the interesting storylines because the players we talk about, they're not going to have any success if those guys aren't having success and putting them in the right positions to succeed.
No, Boyer is in an interesting position here because no matter how many times they and the team deny that there was any change in roles midway through last season, there was a drastic shift at some point. And it's kind of inexplicable to the naked eye because it's not like they were playing nothing but tough opponents in the first half of the year and then all bad opponents the second half of the year. They still played, the Colts. They still played the Jaguars. They still played the Falcons, and the defense let them down in all 3 games. So there's something significant changed somewhere around, we'll call it week 7 or week 8. The second half of week 8 is when we really start to see it are starting to see it. And he's gonna have an opportunity to shut a lot of people up with this play. He has a lot going for him. However, the defense is returning every starter, and might even sprinkle in one or two based on who has a strong camp. And beyond the continuity, he has been around for 3 years. He's the staple of continuity on this coaching staff right now. So I think that this team is hinging a lot on the defensive side of the ball, and that second half of the season not being a fluke. That's why we didn't see a whole lot of shuffling, a whole lot of change on that side of the ball. They added Melvin Ingram and drafted Channing Tindall, and that's really about it. So they're running it back. They're prepared to run it back. It's the other side of the ball. Mike McDaniel does have some pressure on him too. There's a lot of people around the league who I've spoken with who will tell you that it was Mike McDaniel really running the offense, and Kyle Shanahan got a lot of the credit for it. But people around the league know who deserves the credit, and that Mike McDaniel is one of the most prevalent names in that situation. But he's got to call plays. I don't think that it's as big of a change as some people were making. Remember the discussion when he was first hired? Oh, did he call plays? He never called. He never did. Yeah, he did. Or at the very, very worst, he's been around one of the league's preeminent play callers for, we're going on 10 years now. So he's seen it. He has been right there. And there's only one way to get experience calling plays, you know what I mean? And it's to call plays. So it's not as big of a deal as I think people are making it seem. I think play design is maybe more important than play calling. You could teach play calling, you can learn play calling. It's a little harder to design the play and scheme your players open than it is to learn when to call what in whatever situation. That just takes experience. And ultimately that's what Mike McDaniel is going to get this season. So there's a lot of shuffling on the sidelines this year. There's a lot of guys who have pressure on them that are wearing headsets instead of helmets, and it definitely starts with those two. It starts with McDaniel, and it starts with Josh Boyer.
Walk Dolphin fans through this. What is this week right now for the rookies while they await for the veterans next week to report?
It's nothing significant. They walk in, they do a lot of classroom work, they do maybe a little bit of field work, a little bit of workout. It's not like I don't think it's exactly like rookie camp. It's just kind of like a reintegration into the building before the vets get here, and it's full steam ahead just so these guys have a little bit under them, can get their feet under them before it goes pedal to the metal. It's not something that we as media have any access to, so it's not something I worry too much about, but they are reporting tomorrow. It's exciting. Football is back. I think I've said it 100 times on this show, man, that this is the fastest offseason in the history of NFL off seasons. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just because of the drama, because of the trades and the player movement, but I feel like we blew right through it. It was a breeze. So, once vets report next week, then it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a lot of install to begin with, some classroom work to begin with, I think for the first, maybe a couple days, and then you'll get your first padded practice maybe around the third or fourth practice of training camp. And that's when we're full steam ahead.
Love it. All right. Follow him on Twitter at MarcelLJ. Don't forget to order Edge Energy Drink wherever you live in the country. 10% off. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. And use our code BIG-O, and you will get 10% off there on your order for Edge Energy Drink. myedgedrink.com is the website. Order it. Marcel, as always, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. We will catch up later on in the week.
Yes, sir. And everybody interested, catch me on ESPN Radio co-hosting tonight, man. I'm starting to grow the star a little bit. After the home run derby. So as early as 10, as late as 11 to 1 a.m.
Are you on with Freeman?
It's Freddie and Fitz. Yeah, that's the show, but that's not who I'm co-hosting with.
So Freddie's off tonight, is what you're
Freddie's
saying.
off tonight.
Okay, no, Freddie's my guy. Freddie's my guy, so that's why I was saying if you were working with Freddie, tell him I say what's up, because Freddie's my guy.
I wish I was working with Freddie, man. I grew up listening to Freddie.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna get Freddie on. I'm gonna call him and get him on a little bit. I love talking with Freddie. He's so good, and he's a good dude.
Voice, man. That is an all-time voice, all-time radio voice. So
but he's just a class dude on top of that. I already know he's a terrific broadcaster, but he's just gold, bro. He's a good dude, man. Really, really good dude. So good to hear you're getting that opportunity there. That'll be a lot of fun for you. All right. Follow him on Twitter so you can catch him on ESPN Radio too at Marcel_LJ. Marcel, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you immensely.
Yep. Talk to y'all Thursday.
You got it. There you go. Now you have the edge.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
Yes. Appreciate it all out there as always. Thank you for keeping it locked here on our program. By the way, EJD, proud sponsor of our show. If you're looking for custom home construction and rebuilding, and I'm talking about home remodeling, you want to add you want to redo that whole kitchen and modernize it. You want to add another floor to your house. You want to add an upper deck to the top of your roof. I mean, whatever it is that you want to do, EJD Construction can do it for you. Construction cost analysis with the architectural drawings. They can put it together for you, a full set of architectural drawings that include the site plan with the mechanical and plumbing included. That'll assist you in establishing a budget. Folks, call EJD Construction. These are pros. They do it the right way, and they're fully licensed. Do not have anybody work at your home that is not fully licensed because you could end up in a lawsuit. 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for ejdconstruction.com. Make sure you call them because they know how to get it done. Good people. Good people. Call Eric and tell him that Big O sent you. All right. When sports and business collide, we do something we love. It's called the KSDT Sports Business Report. You pull up to the pump, it's more expensive. You go to the grocery store, it's more expensive. You do whatever you want to do in life. Movies. I don't know. Go change your oil. I got to do that. It's more expensive. Well, guess what's also more expensive now? ESPN Plus. Yeah, Disney has increased the price of its sports streaming service, ESPN Plus, to $9.99 a month. That's a 43% increase from $6.99. The increase will kick in August 23rd. An annual subscription rate will jump from $69.99 to $99.99. The unusual for the price streaming service to rise more than 40% in a single increase. Disney's last two ESPN Plus price rises have just been $1 per month, the first in 2020 and then the last in July. The dramatic rate hike accomplishes several goals for Disney. Assuming customers stick with the service, it should help Disney's boost revenue for its streaming products, which still lose money for the company. Second, Disney hopes it will remind subscribers that there's a lot of new and valuable content on the service, including the NFL games, exclusive Grand Slam tennis matches from Wimbledon and the Australian Open, PGA Tour events, and National Hockey League games, increasing the price of ESPN Plus. It will also help Disney pay for its most recent renewal of Monday Night Football, which cost the company $2.6 billion per year. As part of that deal, Disney has the right to simulcast Monday Night Football on ESPN Plus when the company chooses. Third, and perhaps most important for the company, its go-forward strategy. Disney isn't changing the price of its bundle, which will remain $13.99 for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. I have that package. That's the package I have. Right there, $13.99. You get Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. That's the one. I think a lot of us have that one, right? Man, tell you. But if you only have ESPN Plus, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Now you know what's going on. And that, my friends, is less money in your pocket and the KSDT Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right, Doctor. The doc is asking me, Big O, do you think McDaniel's on the hot seat to win ASAP since Sean Payton could be had? God, I think it's ridiculous to say that somebody's on the hot seat when they haven't even started their jobs. I think it's insulting to say that Mike McDaniel has done anything wrong. In fact, if anything, I love how he's handled everything in the offseason. Now we're going to find out what is going to go on here. Let me ask you guys something. Sean Payton's a heck of a coach, right? And he is. He's a heck of a coach. Did he have enough success in New Orleans with a great quarterback for 15 years? Because he did win the one championship, right? Got one. I'm just wondering. And he also had the bully gate, not bully gate, what's it called? The bounty gate. Bully gate, what is it? The deflate gate. I mean, there's so many gates. Meet me at the cemetery gates. Keys and gate. All right. Anyway. So he is a guy that's had his issues, by the way. And you also have to remember with the whole Sean Payton thing, if there's any truth to those reports, he wants control of personnel, something he's never done. I'm not very sure that that's the right thing to do with Sean Payton, is to make him also the personnel guy. Not sure about that. So, I look at they had some pretty good teams there for a long time. So, I'm just saying, I think Mike McDaniel is nowhere near a hot seat. If he is, then it's only the owner looking at the shiny object because he has that Mike Tannenbaum disease. And it's certainly not this front office looking to add Sean Payton, because if Sean Payton wants personnel control, those guys are going to be neutered and fired because Sean will bring in his own guy and just fire everybody. That's what he's going to do. So obviously those guys didn't want Sean Payton. I don't think those guys wanted Tom Brady, because Tom Brady would then go in there and tell them what to do, and Ross would give him the power to do that. So I think this is all Ross is doing. None of it has to do with Chris, with Marvin, or with Reggie. I don't think it has anything to do with the personnel department. I don't think they wanted Deshaun Watson. I think that was all the head coach. I don't even think the owner wanted Deshaun Watson. I just think the owner was following the head coach's lead. And then all those guys then, after the 1-7, that's when they started to sour on this guy. So I think it's ridiculous to say that Mike McDaniel's on any kind of, you just hired the guy. How do you put anybody you hired on the hot seat? And if Stephen Ross ever wants to be taken seriously, you got to stop doing stupid things. You got to stop being a goofball. You can't go see Tony Sperano with Tony Sperano in place. You can't go see Jim Harbaugh in the middle of the night. And as time has gone on, it's looked like a really stupid move, not because you had a coach in place. Of course, it was stupid and insulting in that, but because Jim Harbaugh isn't shit. Overrated as hell. He had his run because of his front office made amazing picks and loaded that team up. Not because he was this incredible difference maker as a coach. Kiss my ass. He caught lightning in a bottle. So you can't keep doing the stupid things that Stephen Ross has done over the years, celebrating the Gators, in a stadium where you host the Canes. There's endless amounts of stupid things that he has done in his career as an owner. Is he a great owner in the sense that he'll spend? Hell yeah. But he's not a great owner because he'll do stupid things. And if he did try to offer this guy money to sell, more stupid things on his part. And if he did try to meet with Tom Brady and it would have been tampering and Flo walked away, more stupid things. So in the end, if you want to go ahead and fire Mike McDaniel after the first year, and let's say he does a respectable job, but just because you have a hard on for Sean Payton, then that's going to be more stupid things, and more people around the league will look at it and say, I don't want to work for that guy. So you will lessen the chances of you getting better personnel or better coaches and better results. So while Stephen Ross does a lot of good things, save the tennis tournament, build a new practice facility, improve the stadium, bring an F1 race, buy any player that you need, he'll do all the things that you need, but he will then also do a bunch of other stupid things that will set you back. All right? So my suggestion to Stephen Ross, who I like, because I think he's a good person overall, I get it. You're up there in years. You're running out of time. You're a little desperate, but you got to stop doing stupid things. You got to act like Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu, like real owners. You got to act like Mickey Arison, like a real owner. Okay? You got to stop getting tied up with all these kind of stupid things. It doesn't happen to Viola and Sifu. It doesn't happen to Mickey Arison. It doesn't happen. Look, even Jorge Mas, who made a bunch of mistakes, but look at him now. He's in the process of fixing this crap. And in another year or two, we're going to see a completely different football team there playing for Inter Miami because he's a great owner. He'll spend. He'll figure it out. You can make mistakes, man. Everybody makes mistakes. But you cannot keep getting your, foot caught in some trap every single time. And then you're involved with one controversy or another. And you have to stop, man, if you're Stephen Ross. You do so many good things. Stop doing the silly stuff. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. 0313 Finn says, no one will replace Tiger. He put golf on the map. Well, golf was on the map, but I mean, he took it to another level. You were right. And yeah, nobody's replacing Tiger, at least right now. Somebody will come by eventually and really capture everybody's, attention and all that. But it's got to be somebody really special. That has not happened yet. Who's that crypto chick who's on the FBI's 10 most wanted list? Oh, I don't know, bro. I didn't see. I'm not sure. She must have done some illegal activity or something. Who knows? I don't know. Don't know, man. I don't know who that is. I don't know who the crypto chick that's in the top 10 is. I have no idea. I didn't even know that. So that is that's news to me, my brother. Or maybe it's something that I do know and I forgot about it and completely don't realize it. I don't know. Not sure. What else do we have here? Let's see what else. Only about 9 Super Bowl winning coaches in the NFL currently. I'll take my chances with one of them. No, 9 because why? Because Belichick has 7. So what is it? Belichick and Andy Reid, and who won last year? Who won last year? I even forgot who the hell won last year. Was in Tampa. Who the hell won last year? Now I'm forgetting. Well, not really. John Harbaugh has one. Right? Yeah. And so there actually are 9 individual coaches that won it, right? Because now I'm thinking Pete Carroll, right? There's still guys there, right, in the league. All right, so there's 9 guys in the league right now that won it. There's that many. Wow. I didn't even realize that, to be honest with you. Is that true? Or you're messing with me? Let me see. Well, Tomlin, that's right. So let's see. Belichick. We've got the Baltimore guy that I just said, Harbaugh. Tomlin. Andy Reid. Seattle. Damn it, I'm forgetting his name now. Rams 6. And Rams won it, by the way. That's what it was. Let's see. Well, Tampa's coach is gone. New Orleans coach is gone. Carolina, Atlanta. Minnesota doesn't have a coach. Green Bay, no. Detroit, no. Chicago, no. Washington, no. Philly, no. There's 7. There's 7 currently. That's what there is. Arians is not in the league. Arians doesn't count. He's not in the league. Neither is Peyton. There's only 7 active right now. So at least that I counted quickly here. There's only 7 active in the league. Now, if you tell me inactive that there's others, then yeah, if you want to take one of them, that's fine. Past successes are not an indication of performance. I know. I would tell everybody else, Jimmy Johnson. What would that get you? Nothing. It was great to get the defensive players, but they won nothing whatsoever. By the way, Parcells, double winner. Jimmy, double winner. And Saban, won in college, and you failed. So this whole thing about, well, I'll take a Super Bowl winning coach. Well, we've had 2-time winning Super Bowl coaches run the organization, and both failed to win. So there you go. Jesse M says, I heard on the Joe Rose show that former special teams coach Mike Westhoff got a token interview to become head coach, and his plan was to bring Marino under the Colts shotgun offense. Marion wanted him. Who's Marion? Or you mean Marino? I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. You're talking about, oh God, that was a long time ago. When he might have gotten an interview for a head coaching job, right? Not recently, right? I can't imagine it would be recently. So I think you're talking about years back. And bring back Marino was to bring back Marino under the Colts shotgun on offense. Yeah, no, that yeah. Jesse, you know what you're hearing is probably a lot of bullshit. That's probably what you're hearing. Okay. That's what you're hearing. Sounds like a bunch of crap to me overall. All right, folks, it is time to wrap it up here on the show. Appreciate all of you, as always, for keeping it locked here on the program. If you're kicking back today and watching the home run derby, don't forget to order a little liquor split there and use our code BIG015 to get 15% off your first order. Liquor split. So Miami, Liberty City, Brickell, Allapattah, West Flagler, Coconut Grove, the Roads. Download that app, iOS or Android, Miami's own liquor store, and order it. And use our code BIG015 to get 15% off your first order. Only on your first order, you're going to get 15% off. What do you care about less? 1, J-Lo marrying Ben. 2, Limp Bizkit postponing their tour. Well, obviously, J-Lo marrying Ben, I don't care. Limp Bizkit postponing their tour is not good because I'd like to see Limp Bizkit down here. So I don't mind seeing a little Limp Bizkit. So, yeah. It's like the J-Lo and Ben stuff. I always wonder, like, the people that keep up with the Kardashian news. Like, I just wonder, like, what kind of a loser are you? Like, why would you give a rat's ass what any Kardashian is doing? Why would you feed that family any kind of money or attention? Seriously. Like, as I prepare, I see headlines of Khloe and Tristan expecting another child. And it's like, who gives a shit? Like, I wonder who are the losers that actually click into that article and want to read about that crap. It really is amazing how many of you have made those losers billionaires. Not millionaires, you've made them billionaires at this point. What a joke. That's why our country's gone to shit. Came from Westhoff's mouth. They hired Wanstash instead. That was this was after Jim. Right, yeah, that was back then. Yeah. They weren't ever going to hire Westhoff ever as a head coach. Come on, man. It is what it is. I love him as a coordinator, as a special teams coordinator, but come on, man. Anyway, we're out of here. We will see you all tomorrow. We thank Ira Winderman, Alan Poupar, and Marcel Louis Jacques. If you missed any of those interviews, you can rewind right here on YouTube, or, of course, you can download the shows there, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all that good stuff. If you want to join our platform and give your business some great exposure, 786-754-4664. If your business wants to be a part of our platform, 786-754-4664. And, of course, you can reach out to us on email at bigradioshow@yahoo.com. We thank Sean Stanley, mastering this program every single day. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.